give thanks to the Creator. That would be you. You spoke all of this into existence, so you are the Word. Thank you, Father, for the Word. And thank you for birthing a flesh vessel to cover the bride, to cover the sins, because we all fall short of the Word, of your Word, Father. Agape. So thank you for that. Thank you for all things. Thank you for Spirit. Thank you for the Hope of Dash. So walk under this testament, under this spiritual testament. So thank you for that. Always keep that in mind. The body, as a temple, and crown, like you have, you have two temples, right? On the side of your head there. So let no one take your crown. He said, I come quickly like a thief in the night. So it's supposed to be burning bright. Thank you for that, Father. So, daily, it's a daily bird. It's a long, we're supposed to be refined like gold and silver. Refined. So it takes a heat, long, continuous. He said long suffering. The word says long suffering. So thank you for the good, and thank you for the suffering. Thank you for the beating, right? So like clay, you beat the impurities out of us. Like fire, to put in a crucible, we're supposed to be crucified. So thank you for the Messiah, the one who they hung, they raised, and we're supposed to lift and daily be crucified as we walk on this rock. So thank you, Father, again. Wanted to come in and, timing is everything. Father's timing is perfect. He doesn't make any mistakes. So he's the equator, the equalizer, pours out a just measure. Remember, it's all mathematical. If you take something over here, you're gonna have to give it. That's algebra. Remember, he does all this by the number. So nobody's getting away. Don't add a jot. He's not even a period. He said, don't even add a period, or you'll go to hell. Hell is not below your feet. So when you die, you're going to go to the dirt. Father doesn't want you to love the dirt. Father wants you to love the word. So I'm always thankful for that. I know many are called, but few, oligos, few are chosen, few have a hearing ear, few have the scales lifted from their eyes. So thank you, Father. Always progress, right? Narrow is the way, so it's like a continuous press, right? Doesn't get easier. You're supposed to keep continuing to walk in the word. So well, Jesus is not written in any scripture, so I'm not sure, darling, who you speak. Don't get your energy siphoned. Yeah, they're like vampires, like vampism, like Christians are vampires, or Catholics, Catholicism, crackers and grape juice, the blood, drink my blood, vampism, cannibalism, Catholicism, all their celebrate the birth. We're not supposed to celebrate birth. So the Hamashiach was 3 years old when they came into Bethlehem. Remember, not Nazareth. Nothing good could come of Nazareth. Remember, Nazareth was like the ghetto, funky ghetto. It was. So whatever, people don't know the word. They know, remember, they know they know religion. 99% of people are religious. well, that are cling to a God in the sky or letters. They're, when he said name, he didn't mean like God or Yahushua HaMashiach or Yeshua or Yahweh or Jesus. That's not what he meant by name. No, there's no such thing as a third eye. You don't have a third eye. That's blasphemy. You have a pineal gland. That's your antenna to your Hokadesh, your spirit, but there's no God. Third eye. Third eye blind. All right, moving back on. Just like there's no Lucifer, there's no Jesus, there's no devil, there's no rapture, there's no such thing as being saved, there's no free will, there's no luck. What are all these other blasphemies that these people blaspheme the word? Yeah. No free will. There's self-will. There's porneia, right? That is the word self. That is Greek for idolatry. Idolatria. Nobody will study the word. Remember, it was an old Jewish book written in Greek, but they don't study. Remember, at the time of Rome, they got the mind wander, so they wander off to some house made by hands. The body is a temple. He wrote on the tables of their hearts. On flesh he paid with blood. Beard. They ripped his beard out of his face. Striped him. He said, follow after me. Are you earning your stripes? He's not some sex pistol. Let me see your decima. Everybody get your hands up. God's in the sky, Jesus. There's no J's in Greek. There's no J's in Hebrew. So there is no Jesus. That's blasphemy. I rebuke with the word Yod, letter. Cosmos is an orderly arrangement. There's no gods in the sky. That's Christianity. Baal, sun god, tree gods, Moloch. Remember Jeremiah, for one cut at the tree. We're told not to do these things. Out of the forest, learn not their traditions, their calendar. We don't celebrate, especially birth. So if you ever met a Satanist, if you know anybody who celebrates birth, that's a Satanist. Remember the birth of Satan. That's the first birthday listed in Scripture, and they didn't celebrate birthdays at the time of Rome, nor they ever. That's a new tradition. And the other one is Herod, who was trying to kill them, HaMashiach, and was anointed. The one you call Christ is a pagan term, comes out of paganism, like a cross. Nobody ever hung from crosses. That's blasphemy. I rebuke you with scriptural record. Tells it, not me. Remember, history is written in a book. Bible means book. You read the wrong text. It's scriptures, they were pounded out in stone tablets, remember, by the scribes. Law given to Moses, the high priest of Aaron, Levitical priest of Levi, the Levitical laws, Sabbaticcal laws, the keeping the Sabbath, letting the land and life fallow. Nobody ever knows the old temple law, right? It was all blotted out, remember? He's fulfilled the prophecy, not a stone left upon another. All the physical laws have been blotted out. Celebration fee, remember, he paid the bride price. Fine, you had to offer 5 shekels, remember? At Passover, not Easter. There's no such thing as Easter. No free will, can't be saved. He's the one who bought and paid, so you saved. When he comes back, he picks up, that's redemption. That's the problem with Christianity and Catholicism, and well, they all follow the Pope, Papa. Catholicism is Satanism. Satan is the adversary, and most people are very adverse to the word when it comes to the word. I don't care who they are. They can be a biblical scholar. Bring them in here. We'll straighten them out. Froward is a Hebrew word. It means to twist. They twist, add or take away. And he said, don't do that. That's the very last thing the HaMashiach said. The Messiah, they hung from a tree, not a cross. So I don't know where people get their study. Remember, you prove your worthiness by studying. Your knowledge is bliss. No knowledge is hell. That's what hell is. Hell is no knowledge. Not below your feet. Earth, not below your feet. Not 2026. See how fast people peel out of here? That's all right. They do their other Jesus. Paul wrote, if you use that translation, he said, don't do that. Don't add. That's a translation. Transliteration, transliteral, literal change, no change to the definition. That's aletheia, truth, right? Or yod, letter, and people add. Don't do that. So there's no J's in Hebrew, no J's in Greek. So who the hell is Jesus? Who the hell is Lucifer? That was never written in Old Testament or New Testament. Why do you guys add words? This exact thing. I'm just coming as a messenger. Messenger. No, there is no Jesus, and he wasn't a prophet of Allah. That's not who Jesus is. Satan, Mithra, the sun god, Apollyon. You're an idiot, Turbo Z. You don't know your Allah. You mean Muhammad? The Catholics wrote the Quran. You don't know anything about scriptural record. You shouldn't speak up about say things. You're a heathen. You know that? I can already tell you already blaspheming scriptural record. There is no J's. So Jesus is a translation. So the Hamashiach hung from a tree. Muhammad didn't hang from a tree. He didn't make a covenant with his bride. Muhammad was a pedophile. Remember Apollyon, the sun god? He had a son, Tammuz. When he died, Satan, right? Christ Mass, Jesus, the one you speak of, that's Satan, Apollyon, Mithra at the time of Rome. So go back and study. You're a child. You know that? Don't say anything else in here. I'll crush you. You're not fast. You're slow. Well, better put the stick in the box. Remember that song? Stick in the box. I don't think you know anything about turbo. I think you must have blown your turbo. You blew it in here already to saying lies. You're a deceiver. You're a Satanist. You're the adversary. So he was a prophet. He prophesied the no stone, the temple, the destruction of the physical. Remember, they hung him from a tree, not a cross. That's paganism. Satanism. You know, eat your kids, throw your kids in the fire. Sex, that's sex with kitty touch much? Where do you think that comes from with the Muhammad? Married a child? The Catholics, that's the Satanism. That's Catholicism. You don't even know your scriptural, biblical, or historical record. You struck out, so don't write anything else in here. Look at your blasphemy you put in here. Allah is not the Most High. Elohim, the most God, the most, right? Elyon, that's not Muhammad. So Muhammad didn't hang from a tree. Muhammad was a pedophile. So just like the current, regime in America, all these Democrats and Republicans, a bunch of PDF files that go to the island, a bunch of island boys. Remember? So maybe I know about islands. So more than one island. Remember the island of Patmos, the gold mines, where the Hamashiach said, don't add? The one they hung from a tree. They made a covenant with his bride. He said, before Abraham was, I am. Not Abraham. Right? Muhammad. You're silly. These people are lost. Hebrew Israelites try to come in here too with their nonsense. They're the chosen, what are the other ones? Well, they all do it. They're demon nations. Jehovah's Witness. All of them follow the Papa Pope, so that's Satanism. Christians, they follow that same thing. Crackers and grape juice, birth the sun god in the middle of the winter, the Christ Mass, Mass A, eat the flesh of man, the burnt offering, that a burnt offering like the God of the Old Testament. People don't know anything about the Old, nor do they understand the covenant he made with his bride, this New Testament. Remember, he was the testor of that will, because they're lost in space. Somebody sold them on the idea of space. Space is a satanic ritual of stars. Father created the stars. Father didn't come from the stars. So that's how you can easily unzip somebody and see how they're just, whatever, body bag them, they're dead. Whatever, they're gone. They're lost. Either that or they're spinning on a ball. Spinning. That's Hebrew word. Remember? Froward means to pervert, to spin, twist, add, warp, change, or, pervert. They're perverted, very perverted. Most of the world's very perverted when it comes to the word. Say, no. They're lost. It's like Muhammad, all this Allah, Allah Akbar, like Kamala, Allah Akbar, he was a PDF file. Remember, just like married a child. That comes from Satanism. Christianity. Well, Catholicism. Modern day, they give them much of demon nations, but remember, they're well, they don't realize that the Catholics wrote the Quran. So people are lost. Vision for the moon for souls. So it's okay. So Turbo struck out in here and said something about Allah. So we don't do island boys or touchy, putting hands on children ever. You don't do that. So it's not welcome here. Go take your tree god, Moloch, Kronos, throw your kids in the fire, eat your kids. They're doing it now. So they do it all the time. Grocery stores got it too. That's why I say become your own grocery store. That was the heading of this. I was going to go over this can of number 10 food because it's time to put some seeds and get them germinating the seeds. Get the garden going. See whatever I can grow. I need to grow as much food as I can to supplement for the chickens. Got water on the brain too. I need lots of extra water. So my brain works differently than the most mentality of the people who punch the clock, go 9 to 5. Allah is not the Most High, Turbo. So get out of here. Hey, let me. Are you okay with touching children and marrying children? Because remember, the Jews, they do their little ritual where they do their blood ritual on the phallic with the children. So are you into that too, there, Turbo? Are you okay with touching kids, marrying kids? Check the IP address of this Turbo Z here, please. It's okay. This channel's monitored, so they got your IP address, and Father's watching too. He's inside you. Outstanding. Good stuff, Buck. Yeah, I know, like I said, because I have to wait. I can't, but I can get some starts because it'd be a little late season. I think get started what I get started, and then what I don't have, I'll supplement. So don't say anything else, Turbo, unless you, like I said, are you okay with putting your hands on children and marrying children? There we go. I got some beautiful eggs. Got a really off color, like a toffee colored egg the other day. It was kind of an oddball. And my little white one, she's laying to the blue ones. Look at this egg. She lays such a torpedo egg. Look at this thing. These are crazy. Oh, thank you, Father, for the ability to. But she's always laid this really, there's your pretty much standard. These are like a large, look at this torpedo. Shows this is a real long torpedo egg. It's a powder blue. It's a real light. It's hard to tell, but it's not that darker blue. She's kind of a mixed bird, but it's like a powder blue. Right. All different shades. Look at the darker, the lighter. I have the cinnamon queens and the Rhode Island, and and then my one girl who lays this torpedo egg. This is her first egg of the year. She normally lays constant, so she skipped one day and then laid again, and then she skipped a day. So I'm sure she'll get back into her routine. So get off grid. You can water glass these eggs. You can't water glass store-bought eggs because they've all been washed. So, and look at their Turbo couldn't even answer the question. Goodbye, Turbo. Don't come back ever again. You're okay with touching children, apparently. So, don't put hands on children. It's okay. It's never all right. Go hanging out with the PDF files in chief, the one in chief, and all the other ones in Congress and the House and Senate, all of them. The whole government needs abolished because it's rogue, a bunch of PDF files. They're the PDF class, not the elite. Don't call them the elite anymore because we all know they're all into this kitty touch nonsense. So, okay, anyways, thank you, Father. We got 3 eggs today. We have more birds. We got 16 birds or something. 16. Plus our good old little rooster out there. He does a good job. So thank you, Father, for good eggs. I love eggs. Man, I'm getting backed up on eggs. I got to eat eggs every day, or I'm out of. Hey, would you stop it, please? I'm live streaming now. Thank you. All day. No, I'm live streaming now. You gotta wait. You've been hanging out with the dad all day. So, okay, but anyways, we're going to go over this can right here. This company, I have other brands that I use. I use Territorial Seed Company, which is out of Oregon, right? And then what's the other one that I buy from, that I buy micro online? TrueLeafMarket.com. They're a seed. Those are the 3 seed companies that I use. I have other seeds, but look at this. How much of food does that say that grows? How much food does that produce? Produce. How much food does that produce? Produce. 13 different varieties. I'll go over what they are here. My eyeballs don't work very good. Green beans, carrots, corn, cucumbers, cantaloupe, onions, peas, peppers, lettuce, romaine lettuce, spinach, squash, tomatoes, and zucchini. I don't remember how much these. I haven't bought any of these in years. This can's probably 5 or 6 years old. So it's a number 10 can. I just popped the, it has a, it has a lid on it. I use the, the opener. So we'll pop this out of here and show you what we got in here. Comes with a bag with all your seeds in it, separated. Comes with some instructions here. So there's your seeds. They come in this can. They're all sealed up. So it comes in a Ziploc bag. Again, it's got instructions on how non-hybrid guard. These are non-GMO. Okay. No, I don't know. I don't know where they're at. Don't know where they're at. I haven't heard a single thing. It was all for nothing. Well, Father will pour out a just measure whenever it is what it is. But I think about him every day, though. Not a day goes by that I don't think about him. So here's all your different seed charts. I believe this gives you grow zones. Thanks for asking, but nope. I've tried to report them missing, but nobody will take a report. Tried reporting them to Josephine County. Tried reporting them missing to the state police. Went to trial and all that, and even mentioned at the trial that I thought might have been, they're missing and could potentially be murdered. So, but nobody hears me. It's like I'm in some weird Matrix zombie land, but that's not what Matrix is. So anyway, so seeds come individually here. Really nice seeds from, this is Augustin Farm. I really like their seeds. I've grown their seeds before. Spinach, okay, squash. These are tomato seeds. It's hard to live every day. Miss them. My son and daughter, terribly. My heart is in a billion pieces and shatters every day. What can I do? Peppers. Peppers. These are onion seeds. Onion seeds. These are all non-genetically open pollinated, so you can grow these out, grow the fruit or the vegetable, and then take that back out the fruit to seed, or go to seed with your vegetables as well. Take them out to seed and go to seed that way too. So we got what, cantaloupe here? Yep, that's cantaloupe seeds. You get, look at all these lettuce seeds. Holy smokes, that's a grip load of lettuce seeds, guys. You can grow this grows over a ton of food, a ton of produce, 2,300 pounds over one ton of food. And then you can take this food and then reseed it out and then grow more food with those. If you did it right, you can grow way more than this. One seed will grow thousands of seeds. That's the nice thing about abundance. Less than 1% of the U.S. population, cucumber seeds grows their own food right now. 40% during World War II grew their own food. We're screwed. We're in the Third World War. I don't care what anybody says now. Carrot seeds. Look at all those carrot seeds. Thousands of carrot seeds. Holy smokes. It's a lot of carrots. You can seed out carrots too and get them, to grow more every year. Green beans. Peas. And corn. I don't think I'm going to grow the corn. I don't think I'll grow the corn. It's not my thing. I don't eat corn. I don't want to waste the water. It takes a lot of water. So, I've got to get these out. I wanted to get these out. Open them up. I have another can that I've opened up before. I couldn't find it. I don't know where I got it. It's around here somewhere. It won't go. It's somewhere on the ministry, so I'll find it. But there we go. There's a garden right there. This seed company, you can buy these seed. This is a seed vault. And then you can take that and I should probably just take that off there. Hold on. Let's get rid of that. Put your seeds back in there, and it's coming. It's got the lid, so you can keep your seeds somewhat fresh. Put them in the bag. Put them in these all Ziploc bags. So they're pretty, not 100%, waterproof, but not bad. Put those in another bucket, 5-gallon bucket with a sealed lid. And then you got yourself a seed vault for, waterproof that thing. Or you got seed for generations to come. You can grow seed. You can grow seed for your children's children in this bag. For your children's children. So, put that back in there for a minute. There we go. So, I've got to get some more going. I'm going to get some more vegetables. I got peppers going. I got this strange cantaloupe going. I can't remember what it was. I remember where I got it at, but somebody gave me some cantaloupe or whatever, but it wasn't like a cantaloupe. It was like a honeydew lope. It was a different, more tasted better, tasted even sweeter than honeydew. But it was shaped real long, like a football. I don't know what it was. But I saved the seeds, a bunch of them. I still got to put up those seeds. So, yeah, so this goes over the information on each one of the planting, all the different, the depth and the distance apart on where you're supposed to plant them. So, not bad. I can't remember. Does anybody know what one of these, will you look this up? Will somebody look up one of these for me right now? What does one of these cost? What's it cost for a Augustin seed vault? Augustin Farms. Augason. Augustin. I think I was putting a T in there. Augustin. Non-hybrid, non-genetically modified, not open pollinated. You can grow year after year. Harvested seeds can be planted the next year. A lifetime of produce in a single can. So that means you can continue to grow year after year. You never have to buy another if you did it properly. And then every year you grew seeds, your seeds would be more custom to your, they say if you put seeds in your mouth, with your saliva and then put them in the ground, it grows whatever your body needs. So I've heard, theory. So, but anyways, anybody know what does one of these cost right now? This grows over a ton of food, 2,300 pounds, 13 varieties, open pollinated, non-genetically modified seeds. Huh? Not your Walmart. You got to go back every year because they don't, the seeds, you grow this, fruits and vegetables, and you plant those seeds and they don't grow. They don't produce any fruit. So a lot of the times they don't grow, and they did that on purpose. All this ready Roundup nonsense, Monsanto, all that. So anybody know the cost of one of these right now? What's one of these seed vaults costing right now? This is an older label. I think it changed even from this one. This one was around probably, I bought this one probably 10 years ago. Maybe 8 years ago. I don't know if there's a date on it, but seeds don't really go bad. I know they're in this, not when they're all sealed up like that in a number 10 can. I don't think there's a born on date on it. I don't think they put a born on date. So where? Planting guide inside. Man, I wish I could read that better. That writing is so tiny. In order to harvest crops early possible for the longest possible, some must be started indoors several weeks before they can be planted outside. If in-depth planning directions are desired beyond those included, please consult a reliable region. Okay. Either will help determine what seeds should be started prior to starting the garden, and which seeds should be seeded directly when they will grow. Times will vary widely by region. Okay. Only non-hybrid, open pollinated, traditional varieties will produce seeds which when saved and planted the next year will give you the same results as the parent plant. Our selection of non-hybrid seeds can yield up over to 2,300 pounds of produce for fresh eating vegetables, reserving and fruits for the winter, and saving seeds. Pretty awesome, man. So anybody know what one of these costs right now? That looks like they're out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Must be some of this come out of this Mormons. They do their kosher foods and all that. They got all their labels. There's supposed to be some little label or some little marker if it's kosher or not. This is out of Salt Lake City, Utah. They got a Facebook. Shelf life best when stored in a cool, dry place between sealed to 5 years. They say 5 years. Yep. So, and either way, I got those quite many years ago, but I'm sure they'll work. I bet you have almost near 100% success on the germination. So, again, thought I'd come in here for a little bit, have a conversation, see what you guys are up to, hang out here with the ministry for a little bit. Shadow ban channel, so we're not getting a whole lot more movement through the channel right now, which is okay. I don't really with the State of the Union, I don't really much have a whole lot to, there's more things we should be preparing for than, it's not like everything is a bummer, but things are hard to watch and be a witness to. So come in here and connect to the web and share the word is more important than anything else. All those other things will come to pass. But he said, my word will never die. So the word is what I'm here to do, what I come in here to share. He said to have extra oil, and these are things again in my humble opinion that this is the extra oil that he's speaking of, sowing seeds and having extra food and things. You're supposed to put up things for your children's children. This is the type of thing that you could do, for your children's children. Grow more seeds. If they stayed in the area, they would be more hardened to that area. They would grow probably better just year after year. You'd learn more about each plant that you grew and just become more of a green thumb through experience. Isn't that what life is about? Is experience. I mean, owning things is all right, but experience is more. If you ask me, I mean, I guess because it's maybe my age. When you're young, you want to own a lot of things, and and have fancy whatever, just different. I understand, but as you get older, some of that stuff just seems less, little superficial. Not so nostalgic. Things that don't hold the the weight, the value that they did at one time. So experience seems more uh, for me, and here that's I trying to do everything I can here to create this, through Father, this ministry so we can create more food and create abundance in a time where things I think are going to continue to be pinched off and supply chains are going to get smaller, and um, that's just kind of the way of the world with all these embargoes and or sanctions, and then all these blockades, and like what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz and all this. It's just going to make it harder and harder to get the things you need. Nothing in the future seems like it's going to get better. It actually seems like this whole, what they call a global supply chain, is being cut off, and it's being brought back more, grassroots. People are starting to hoard their resources. Countries are, and we're not seeing that, supply chain that was once, a very fluid, during the whole the beer bug. Remember, it got all cut off. Everything, all those ports got shut off and all that. It started way back then, So um, here we go down more and more. Should see things get more expensive, and nothing's going to get easier. Nothing's going to get better. But you can plan around that, or not don't make plans, but prepare. I don't make plans. Father wrecks them. So, but I prepare for both. If I make plans, and Father will wreck them. That way you don't get one-sided. It's better to prepare than to plan, if that makes sense. That way you've got more than one, plan, if you will. You know what I'm saying? You can both sides. Let Father handle it, on both things. But just prepare for the, you know, the worst, and prepare for the best of times. So, and then, it's better to have and not need than need not have. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So anybody doesn't get ready is going to have to pay a higher price, or be less availability, or all that's not doom and gloom. That's the world we live in right now. So whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. That's just the day and age that we live in. So when you've got a bunch of, corporations running the show, of course, that's what's going to happen. This is fascism, as real as it gets right now, you know. And it's not just this country; it's most of them, near blatant communism. So no freedom. Freedom is long gone. They've strangled a lot of that away from people, as far as through speech or through taxation, or there's just many ways people are not able to um, operate the way we should. Is there nobody should ever go hungry. There's enough resources on this rock that everybody should be very well fed, but yet what, 8, 10, 12 families have about 50% of the rock's resources. Things aren't very equal right now, so things are very one-sided. So that's why things are the way they are. So it's not going to get better. You can provide, you can thrive, not just survive. Most people just be barely hanging on by a string, but most people, that's where they're at right now. That's just the day and age we live in. When you have corporations running the show, central banks literally making all the interest, all the money, and taxing everybody, then you're going to have, look what just happened for the last, since 1971. They brokered us off the Bretton Woods Agreement, and started backing all these dollars with the Saudi nations, and that's all changing right now, huh? That all of this is different. We live in a completely different world than the 70s. So people are paying. Oil is becoming something. It's main stage. That, look at the rise of the price in oil. It hit $120 today. At the beginning, I think it was $60, $50 or something at the beginning of the year. That's more than double. It's kind of like what we saw silver do. So gold, all these things are inflating. So are you telling me it's cheaper to go to the food where you get your food to prepare? If you don't grow it yourself, it's cheaper now. So nothing's getting more, affordable. Things are definitely shaping, up to get continually more expensive in the future. That's the only, unless you grow it yourself, it's gonna continue to cost. It's gonna go up dramatically. It's gonna cost more for oil, less oil being moved around, higher costs to produce things. There is automation coming in, but that has its own cost too. People losing jobs and unemployment going up, and and then nobody not having a job, and then having to go to that expensive grocery store. So, and to buy food that's not even very high quality, a lot of it's just pretty much poison. That's kind of the thing that's, you know, um, that's crazy. That the food that we're offered at the store is borderline. There's not much nutrition in any of it, and it's riddled with corn syrup, which is something our body shouldn't eat any corn syrup. Corn is one of those things I question whether we should eat it at all. It's all been modified too, again. So you saw me hold the seeds up from the seed ball, and I don't think I'm gonna grow the corn. Um, I don't eat it. I don't eat corn. So I used to, but corn is disgusting. Most things are. Everything's genetically modified. It's really hard to find anything anymore that hasn't been modified by chemicals. Not like genetically, like tweaking its DNA, getting there with a microscope, and it's chemicals. They chemically castrate or add or take away from our food, make it Franken food, basically. Zombie food. So what do they call it? The Goyim slop. So so it's meant to it's meant to fill you, but not really meant to give you any kind of uh, daily nutritional value. Most of it is lacking and is void of, and you have to add supplements, which are a whole nother issue when you're adding supplements, that most of them are not of an organic plant base, and body has an issue absorbing, and I'm not going to go into it. So, but anyways, it's an amazing time to be a witness to all the goings on, because it's this is the great falling away from the word, and more I see that. I see less and less, um, less and less people being righteous and trying to come together. I mean, we have an elite class, pedo class of people running the show, and we're in the moment, and nobody's doing anything about it, and it's heartening, disheartening, and to see that you don't have. There are certain times in history where you can't wait to get involved. There's times where you speak up, and there's times to stand down. And my dad did teach me that, how to survive. Sometimes you got to duck. I'm a veteran. You got to, if you want to live to fight another day, you don't get shot or, take one to the cranium, right? You got to duck, get behind cover, get behind, an engine block, get behind something solid. You got to live to fight another day. But if you just, see, that's, people don't, they just don't see it. So this is not something we duck. This is something we speak up. and should be having mass a conglomeration uniting in the moment and saying, you know, hey, we are not going to stand for this. Is again, and I find it. I've talked about it on this before. You know, spam calls. So I used to answer my phone. I don't anymore. All I get is spam. Seriously, leave a message. I'll call them back if it's that important. Change my oh, come on. What is where is the lighter? Got a lighter here somewhere, don't I? Guess I figured out that I don't eat pork. Oh. Come on now. Got some wind outside. Some wind out there. Ain't leaving no important messages, huh? That's how you know they're spam. 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 So, who's growing a garden? Somewhere else. Y'all could come here and do this. Some diapers before swine energy, swine. So it's okay. I'm not concerned about it. Like I said, they're when you're over the target. They don't have a garden. That's a problem. They probably eat pork. Well, from the store, all these worms, and they're like dopamine dump with a bunch of sugar and, you know, modified. They're genetically modified. People are very genetically modified now. Just like to the times of same thing. People modifying their bodies. That's what makes them do what they do. Most people are evil, and most people. So most people. Oh man, that's pretty good too, man. Mango lime from Langers. So, who's growing a garden this year? Anybody growing a garden? I did that outdoor. I put out that outdoor garden last year. So excited about getting some garden going in there this year. I'm going to try to add some more to it, you know, to the side. I got to put the lid on it. I didn't put the lid on it last year. You know, I grew in there, but I didn't, you know, I put a temporary lid, but I messed up remember I messed up the sheeting somehow. I put it on that piece of metal, and it just, whatever, it wasn't even on there very long. So an hour, a couple hours or something, it was all stuck together. And so, but anyways, it's all right. I found somebody a use for it, so I traded it out for some metal roofing. I haven't gone and picked it up yet, but I did. So I do need to get some more yeah, I need to get mine going here. I got me some started, you know, on some napkins. I got a pepper going. You got a pepper, and I got that melon and a herb and a herb seed from some herb. So you got the rabies. So but yeah, what's one of these costs, guys? What's the cost for one of these right now? Augustin Farms. These are all non-genetically modified, open pollinated. There's 13 different varieties. This can, there's like over, how many seeds do they say? Over 8,000 seeds in here. This has over 8,000 seeds. It's 1 pound of seeds, 8,000 seeds. This grows over a ton of food, 2,300 pounds of produce. 2,300 pounds of produce. What's one of those costing now? I can't even remember. I haven't even looked forever. I know they still have them at some of the stores. I haven't seen them for a country minute, but I haven't been looking for them because I bought them years ago. So, and I just opened that one today. $60. Damn. I mean, whatever. That's 2,300 pounds of food. $60 don't hardly get you any vegetables at the store. A bunch of stuff that looks all the same. Why is all that fruit the same shape? Same color? There's no variation. They look like plastic fruit, and it's all sprayed with bugs, rode with fluoridated and chloridated water. Oh, that's some good stuff there you're getting from the old grocery, from the Piggly Wiggly, from the Safeway, the Alpha Beta, the Winco, your Kroger, wherever you shop to get your genetically modified poison, corn syrup control, carbonic acid, you know, sorghum. Oh, not sorghum. What's that filler that they put in everything? Starts with an S, but yeah, I'm not sure the exact price in your area, but not a bad deal. 13 varieties, you know, open pollinated, non-genetically modified. I read the list. Obviously, I can fill in some of the things that, you know, they didn't grow. Like, I'd like to grow some cherry tomatoes. I like the cherry tomatoes. I'll probably feed most of them, a lot of this to the birds. I'm growing a lot of this to grow supplement for my chicken feed. You know what I'm saying? I may have the freeze dryer up before then. I don't think I will. I don't think I'll be able to have a freeze dryer by then. I think freeze dryer is next year. I don't think I'll be able to do the freeze dryer this year. I still have to purchase a home, septic, power, permits. That's a pretty big cost. The freeze dryer is really not that much on its own, but I just don't. It's going to be tough for me to do what I'm doing already. So I've kind of put myself under a stopwatch, if you will, but that's okay. It's why I've been working, doing what I've been doing, trying to get, I put some things on the internet yesterday. Uh, I didn't get any hits. Sometimes Father's like that. He goes in ways with me, but I buy and I fix and I trade and I sell. And so we'll get the assets that I have up. I have an investment, and hopefully those will be the things that I need to clear me through this year. But we'll see. I may have it, like I said, hopefully, I'm going to try to put the power in, and first, that's first thing to go. Second is the septic is to go in. And then um, I've been thinking about, actually, I thought, I might just start building a building out here. Not building the building, but I built spec homes before. Spec homes, like in a building and outside of a building, like racking on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. I don't know if you ever built spec homes, but just thought about going ahead and building my walls out. Just build the walls and lay them down. I don't stand them up and rack them. You know what I'm saying? So just start collecting this material, get this freaking material together. So I need to go talk to the building and planning, see if they'll let me use this building. I've actually looked at, I don't know if I want to use a shipping container, because it has to be a single, I think in Oregon, it can be only a one trip shipping container. Otherwise you can't use it. I looked in some of the regulations. I've been pretty busy trying to, get some of the logistics on this all taken care of. So I don't know if I'll be able to do the freeze dryer or not, but boy, that sure would be awesome, because that'd be right at the end of the year, wouldn't it? Right about harvest season, with a lot of these, not a lot of it would earlier than that, but there's still things at the end of the year that I can have abundance. So months, certain timeline that I've set, with the way this can be done, I can accomplish these things one step at a time. First thing's going to be the electric, and obviously the first thing's pulling the permitting. So cover that cost first, and then next is the electric. So I've already purchased P.O.Box a couple years ago, and the pole, and I have some conduit. I need to purchase a little bit more. I will have to purchase the wire from them, but that'll be in the check that I cut them. So that'll be the next step, and then following that will be the septic, putting the septic in. And the septic's actually probably just as much as all the permitting and the power combined, just to put the septic in. And then water is twice as much as that. So I'll hold off, because I have water. One step. That's how I work. That's what your Father allows me to do. I can't be concerned about making plans, because he'll wreck them. Father puts a lot of resistance in my life, and I just work through it. I'm a veteran, so you can't. I joined the military at 17 years old. You're not going to knock me down. I'm in my 50s, So I remember I recently here, third time busted back. So I'll figure it out. Father will give me the perseverance, the strength. He always does. So if there's His will, then that's His way. My way, it's, I don't want to do anything in my way. That's why the ministry is what I do. That's what I do, is this ministry. So thank you, Father, for that. Thank you for the ability to come in here and share the preparedness of what's going on out here, and be able to accomplish these things. And you guys get to be a witness. So accomplished a lot out here in the last 10 years. Even if it sits and I never do another thing out here. I was getting some more fencing done up front. Man, that fencing is looking so nice. It is. Appreciate the ability of the hard labor. It's turning out good. It'll last for years to come. think it'll last for 15, 20 years maybe. Hopefully that fence will all be standing up. Might have to tack a board up here and there, but I put all large nails and screws and try to put, build it to last for the ministry. When I build things out here, I build them so they're not gonna blow away, or it's a high desert, so we get some wind and we get some rain, we get snow, we get a little bit of everything out here. So hot days and cold nights, and so this is a freaking paradise. It really is. So I feel so abundant to even be able to give this life an attempt to do it and do what I've done in the past. I've grown, my own food, produce my own power. Right now, I'm ready to go back and get power, and actually put power on the property so I can have a consistent, keep 1 foot in the system and 1 foot out. I'm super close out of that. I'm out of the system. I do keep a little bit, because I still use shop, go to stores, don't grow everything by myself, but I'm more self-reliant than most and a minimalist, so I don't use what most people use on a daily basis. I more give to the ministry or my animals than my own time or self or money, but that's okay, because I've already accomplished everything I need to accomplish in life. I do. I feel this ministry allowed me to do that. So, like I said, I'm almost certain times I just want to hang it up. Like, okay, I did my thing. People at this time, if they don't see what's going on and they're not preparing, then it's not too late, but it's, it's like you have to get ready for the winter and the summer. You have to get ready for the summer and the winter, and people are not doing that. So they're not getting ready at all. So they're way behind. What is Roger Waters' 10 years and drop behind you? No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. You didn't, it's already happening. We're already in the third world war right now. Everybody waiting for a world war to happen, like everybody waiting for a one world currency, a one world religion, and a one world government. It never says that. And we were already lockstep one world governance during the old VidCo, the COVID backwards, get the VOC out of here. Seriously, people don't see it. So not a time to try to convince people something's going on. If they don't see it right now, leave them alone. Show them the narrow way. Treat everybody the same. That's what the word says. Agape, thy neighbor like thy enemy like thyself. So don't be concerned about people who are, not wanting the word. Leave them alone. Don't sup with vipers. That's what it tells us. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Most people are evil, and most people go to hell, or they're nice. The word nice means to be stupid. So most people are quite stupid. They act like nothing's going on. Look at America, for example. We have a PDF class. They're not the elite. They're the PDF class, pedo class. And they're running the show. And nobody seems to care. This is that moment where people should really be caring. And I'm not calling for violence, but this should not be tolerated. These are the children. These are our future. These are the people who are going to wipe our what for us. So what a tragedy. This corporation, now former constitutional republic, former union, was. The state of the union, the state of the corporation is right on target. When you're them, they're loving it. They got all these grocery stores where they pretty much fill them with poison. The people go there and buy it. So they don't even need to, unalive them. They just pay to unalive themselves. They actually pay to, eat this poison. So I think these people at the top right now have got to be absolutely just laughing. And I'm glad that I'm not a woman right now, because I fear what a man is supposed to be on this rock. The only thing it takes for evil to flourish is for good men to stand around and do nothing. And under this covenant, we're equal yoke. So it's man and woman. So Jew, Gentile, man, woman, all flesh. Remember? White, black, brown, red, yellow. Black, round, yellow, red, white. That don't matter the order. All flesh, but not everybody. So, don't be trying to change anybody. Just take care of yourself and show people the narrow way. And that's all you can do in this modern day age that we live in. People are far, far, far from the word. They are. Lovers of self. Their agape is pornea. And again, I'm not trying to change the world here. I know that I can, in my little space and on this small little channel, I can speak with my brothers and sisters in the narrow way. And anybody who doesn't share fruit in here, doesn't produce good fruit, one bad apple upset the whole apple cart. We don't want them in here. So it's not a channel, not trying to grow the channel. Actually, this channel is so shadow banned now we're hardly even we pick a subscriber up once a week, maybe. Now, don't matter how long I live stream, you know, and they just dump off whatever so this channel has been sitting out about the same amount of subscribers for about 3 years now. And that's okay. That's Father's doing. I appreciate it so much because I don't want to deal with a bunch of clowns in here. A bunch of people acting, trolls. And look, I don't even hardly have any people. I already have people trolling me. So that's okay. Sometimes they say there'll be nobody in here. And there'll be 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 people. The numbers don't add up on this channel. They don't ever do. I quit looking at the analytics because it just, it's not monetized anymore. So it's swept under the rug, never gets sent out into the algorithm. People don't get the notifications that I'm on here. And so that's good because, like I said, I don't want to deal with a bunch of people who are not in the narrow way right now. I don't. I'm not that I, won't. If I would, can't stop it. How we doing? Yeah, just sharing the gospel. Just pretty trying to get the ministry out here on the grid here, trying to put power out here in the high desert, trying to get the freeze dryer out here. Added an above ground garden last year, so want to produce more food. Been growing, as much as I can, but want to produce a lot more. Have, livestock, chickens out here right here now. Want to get some goats back out here and maybe a couple sheep and maybe eventually a couple of bodies to come out here, but Father he hasn't allowed that as of yet. So I just plug in away one day at a time. I did file my conditional use permit so that I can start the process to get constant source of power so I can have the freeze dryer out here. It's going to be super, I'm a minimalist and I don't like to waste anything if I can help it. I repurpose almost everything I have on this property is repurposed. I don't know if there's anything new on the property, what I'm saying? I'm that guy. So having the ability to save all this abundance and then eventually tithe it out to those that come back on a regular basis. We got a small group of people who come in here when I live stream, on a regular basis. So those would be probably the people that I would be tithing to, people who come back often to the ministry. And so I don't want to tithe a bunch of people who are out in the middle of the ether somewhere, and it's people who continue to come here. So and keep adding comments and that's, I don't think it's unjust or ruly or unfair. That's so hopefully again I have once I get the permit approved, it's about 6 months to complete all projects. Septic, power goes in first, then septic, and then get the house, and then I can figure out the water after, because I have a lot of water storage out here and have tanks that can fill them up. And eventually I want to get more, since I'm not in the town, I have some downspout or some gutters, put gutters on every single building out here that I have, and anything that got a drip edge, put a bucket under it or something, and don't waste any water ever. And then I should be able to pull this off until I can get a well out here. So probably about 40,000, I think is the cost, is what is my final cost that it's going to be, about 40,000. So I don't have anywhere near that right now, but I'll be able to pull it off. So I will. I have 6 months to do it. So excited for the ministry. And then, like I said, when I leave, people can be here and they'd be flushing toilet, and obviously you'd have to, figure out how to get a better source if I leave. I would really want to make sure somebody had a constant, source of water, nowhere to, and there's multiple sources of water in town now, and other people, there's people, and I have another source. So, but in the future, I'd like to eventually put a well out here as well, and a well as well. Um, and so that's something that will come in the future. And you can do it all. It's something I can actually dig myself and have them permit, and I can case it. And I know how to. I already looked into all this, so it's possible. I don't know if that's something I'm going to attempt right away, but I do need to put in the power. I do want to get the address out here and um, officially try to turn this over to the church. Maybe future tense. Um, we can, get some more people out here, people enjoying the ministry, and this ministry will serve after I'm gone. Like I said, that would be awesome, wouldn't it be, to leave something behind, kind of a legacy of, that the church after you pass, that it could still serve, children, or children that are going to need to hear the word in the future, and this could be a location where all the amenities and all the things that are here, if enough people came out here, it eventually within 2, 3, 4, 5 people could run this on a regular basis, and it could produce food year in and year out, organic, and there would be no cost to live here. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much a zero cost lifestyle where you produce just about everything, right here, and you trade for what you don't. And, there's food, there's work up in town, in this little town. If somebody wanted to go get work outside of the ministry, there's plenty of it. So I've been trying to put a post on the homesteaders looking for helper page the other day, but my posting disappeared right as I was getting ready to upload it. I was like, okay, Father, I guess you don't want me to do this right now. So maybe it was just one person that I would have interacted with that wasn't the right person, and now I got to wait till the right person comes. And Father's like that in my life. You don't make mistakes. So, uh, but future tense, I want to be able to produce food out here and um, send it out, put it in this freeze dryer, and maybe a second freeze dryer down the road, produce a couple of them and produce food and send it out to the ministry. So what does this ministry do? It produces food for the ministry. So somebody will support it eventually too. Like I said, somebody will get along, come on board with me. So, and if not, then I'm going to die trying, and I'll try to do it by myself. So I'm going, whether I've been going for 10 years out here and really haven't had that, solid person come out here and join me, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen. I've still got life in me. I don't think I'm going anywhere in the next, if I make it through this year, I think I'll live another 50 plus years. So I'll have to accept that. My mind will figure that out. So let me get to, my next time when I came on this rock, and then I'll get past that, and then I'll have a whole different mindset from there. I'll be open up the floodgates. So I'm just kind of in cruise control. Like I said, I don't want to work too hard. I've got a compression fracture in my third vertebrae, and I don't take narcotics, and I don't really, I just take it easy, and so I'm not having surgery, and I'm just trying to go one day at a time. So if I do that and I pace myself, I will make it to this, September is what I'm looking at. September, October, hopefully again, so, well, hold on, it's March, so maybe by the end of this month they'll approve it. So that would be April, May, June, July, August, September. Yep, I have till September. By their, 6 months to complete whatever it is that I'm going to do out here. And by then it'll be winter, and it's much harder to, produce things out here during the winter than it is during the summer too. Anyways, so good time to make sure you got enough wood in the wood stoves, and, plenty of cords of wood, and sit back and enjoy and just kind of tinker through the winter. Heck, maybe we'll get a nice winter like we had this winter. It was a great winter. It was a mild winter. It wasn't, super, I could have done a lot more, but that's okay. I had a freaking busted back, man. Third vertebrae, third freaking time. So one and, L1 and L2, are been already before. So this is my third go in with, just working too hard. I know when I did it, I told this ministry exactly when I busted that vertebrae. I think it did something to my hip too, but I didn't let them x-ray my hip. So I'm sure the hip is going to show what the back is, or some kind of fracture or whatever, but it'll heal in time. It'll heal up. I've done it before. So um, you just got to take it easy and don't overdo things. I know that I can do more than I do. But I don't. I will pace myself so that I don't hurt myself. Because if I do, then I can't work, and then I don't have anybody to take care of me. I used to have somebody in the past that I thought might take care of me, which is my son, but I don't know if he's around, or I don't know if he's alive. I haven't talked to him in almost 2 years, so I don't have anybody to take care of me. So if I go down, I'm done. So I got to just pace myself. Steady wins the race. Remember the rabbit in the hare? So, as long as I pace myself, hopefully I'll make it through it. Like I said, in time, I've already done this a couple times in the past with the two lower vertebrae below those, and they healed up. They self-fuse themselves together, and but I was wondering why I was in so much pain, why I was having so much, sciatica, and it's just like right now, my back is just, the sciatica is just a little strong, and I didn't overwork myself today. I did something. I did, you know, so up on a ladder and I moved a couple heavy things today. So, but I didn't do the bay part. I got to unload that trailer. I've got all that steel and stuff on there. I got at that sale that I need to pull off there, some more roofing, lots of building materials eventually. I don't know how I'm going to use that stuff, but I'd like to be able to use all those bolts, big bolts, and I'll figure out an application that'll come to me down the road. I'll figure out, it's like those license plates that I finally figured out what to do with those. I really like those hanging up front on the front of the ministry up here, because it's all very Western, all the wood's like this. It's very bleached. Everything's sun bleached. So there's not a lot of color, out at the ministry. It looks old town, like an old Western town. So those license plates up front add a little color when you're pulling up on that front row. So I asked people if they would send me license plates. I had people, 2 or 3 people, swore they were going to send me license plates. They didn't swear, but they said they were, and nobody ever did. So I got tired of going to the mailbox waiting for a license plate to show up, and just a little disappointed. So I quit asking. But I'll find some more. I'll find maybe some yard sale or some. I just collected them through the years. I just thought I had more states than I did. I just had a lot of Oregon. I guess because I'm in Oregon, I collected a lot of Oregon plates. I put up, 15 or something of them up front, and probably had 40 of them, but 25 more Oregon plates. So, extra, so that's okay. I'll find some more. I'm going to get some more, but they look good up front too. I like to add a little color, and, as I do hip camp out here, I think and the cabin rentals, I'll be able to get some people send me through that too. Maybe not, but I'll try. Like I said, I looked online to try to find somebody selling them bulk, and I didn't really find anything that jumped out at me. There's a little bit of value in them. I mean, I don't want vintage. I don't care if they are. That'd be great, but I don't care. I think I got one vintage plate out there, or whatever, some older plate, but it's a good idea. I just use things like that. So I collected them for years, and I finally found the right application for them. So I'm sure I'll eventually find the right application for those all those bolts or whatever. All that's like cabling. It was all to hold up towers. It's like a guy worked for the is it the phone company? I don't know what he worked for. When I went to this sale, state sale, but there was a lot of bolts. I just bought all the weight. I bought weight. I bought all the scrap. Um, it's worth it to me. Hopefully, if I can get my money back out of that at the radio tower, I'll make my money back, and I'll be happy that if I break even, I get some extra stuff out of it. So I got a couple pieces of conduit um, for the electric, which is cool. Some 3-inch Schedule 40, and got there's some other pipe and stuff out there too. Like I said, I just took anything that was metal. That's what the agreement was. There was a lot of wood and poles and stuff, and I would have liked to got. There was telephone poles I would have loved, but I don't have a tractor to move those things around. Um, but like I said, I got about 6 or 8 bins of some big bolts, all thread, and I looked online. That's expensive, but I don't know the application of who would buy them or whatnot. So I'm just going to probably hold on to them. If I can break even and get my money that I bought, you know, um, I bought some of those targets that you can target practice with that move. They're like a real thick metal and they swinging targets. So I bought a couple of those too. I think those will sell. Um, and yeah, so that's what I've been doing is getting some other things, getting ready, to get some more things up for sale. And because the weather's breaking and the driveway is starting to actually finally dry out enough where I think people could come down the driveway in a reasonable, without getting their vehicle completely all muddy and, just toasting their vehicle to get back here. So um, maybe one day my neighbor here next door will put some money into the driveway, you know, help out a little bit with the driveway instead of just drive down it and tear it up and not fix it. But I don't think so. We'll see. Time will tell. So far, nothing, but anything's possible. If not, I'll keep trying to fix it. But I can only, during the winter months, it just gets so tore up that you can have to have a 4-wheel drive to get back in where I'm at. So it gets pretty bad back here. So uh, I'm trying to do the best that I can. I'm only one dude. Probably should have sued the state of Oregon and sued this county, but I didn't, so it's okay. Just have to grind it all out the hard way. So, but again, I'm looking forward to the weather breaking out here and get some more things done. And the weather has been a little windy the last couple of days here, so little chilly breeze, but not bad. Like I said, I worked most of the day today. Worked a little bit doing some stuff on the chickens out there, and um, I moved that windmill blade. It was just pulling the fence down, and I'm starting to get the rest of that fence put up front there. So I need it out of the way, anyways. So I had moved that too. Hung an what did I put up there? Something else. I hung something else up, and then I dropped the antlers and had to fix those. I had a real nice set of antlers hanging up on that post, and they came down because they were on the I hung that bell, a bell at the front gate there. So if somebody wanted to ring the bell, they could probably figure out, hey, there's a bell. I bet you he might hear me inside or something, So at the front area there. So yeah, just tooling around today. Got another load of firewood or whatever, and just trying to take it easy. Went and started some more seeds again. Wanted to get the seeds started for the garden this year. Trying to work on that, getting the seeds all ready to go, get them all germinated out, get them started. I went and got about 10 things of a little small potting cups to put the starts in. So I got about a dozen of those done. So as they sprout, I'll be transplanting them over there, and it always takes at least 3 or 4 or 5 days, a little bit longer once you transplant them when I do them that way, to poke back out again. But that's it's always exciting. So I'm going to probably keep most of this stuff inside here within the next days. I have a list of things longer than I could ever do. It's kind of the neat thing about living out here is there's just more than any man could ever do in one lifetime. It's just if I was a simple man and just did some things, but I got some pretty big projects going out here for just one dude. I don't know. 3 cabins, an underground storm shelter, all the fencing, animals, ministry. I'm a pretty busy guy. I got to keep myself busy or I'll fall behind. So I enjoy though, because there's just a list of things that are longer than, and I can make more work for myself if I normally do that. make more projects and bite off more than I can chew sometimes. But oh well, at least I stay busy, like I said, and if I just stay at it, and I can get a lot done. Even just one guy, I look back sometimes and look at the accomplishments of what has been done out here, and it's not like I've got a bunch of money. I don't have money. I don't have income like a Social Security check coming in, or VA. I'm a veteran. I don't get money or disability from the VA. I don't get any kind of back child support. As a single parent for almost 8 years, didn't get any child support. So I don't really, I work for what I have. And so I look and go, wow, you don't really have an income, but look, you've been able to pay this land off. That was a $47,000 total was what it cost for this land. And I paid the other land off too. I sold it, but that's it. I was able to pay some of these other things off. So a little bit of a shuffle, but we're getting her done now. So I'm excited again to get to this fall, and hopefully by then this property be on the grid with an address and off the grid. So it'll be on and off the grid, meaning I'll only have one building on the grid. I don't want to put, and spread the power out to all the buildings. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep all these other buildings running solar, running wind, running these alternative, sources of power, and then use that main, to produce a studio, produce content for the ministry. You can, have a freezer in there so that I can freeze things, get them prepared, get them ready to go into the freeze dryer. So yeah, exciting, to see what will happen. So don't seem to be getting a whole lot of response out of this channel here. I don't know what's going on. It's just super shadow banned or what. We have good days and bad days in here, but content seems to be, as far as conversation seems to be surely dying off over these last couple weeks, a month. I don't know. So I appreciate the comments. I love comment sections because I've learned so much through the years, through the comment sections, and love when you guys put comments, but it just seems like in and out. YouTube filters it out, in and out. And it's just, I love sharing in here, but I like people to share with me and share with the ministry. I don't want to be in here all by myself. I'll just put channel content out. I won't do live streams. Or just turn the comment section off. I don't want to do that. Maybe more people would stay in here if I turn the comment section off, so, but I don't know if you notice that, Sabrina, this channel feels like it's kind of dying off. You've been here long enough. It does. And we're just not getting the response. Nobody subscribes to the channel anymore. I can have 20, 30 people in here staying here for 6, 8, 10 hour, 12 hour. We don't get the thumbs up and I don't care. Remember, none of that matters to me. It's all organic, but seems like it's kind of dying down. So hopefully people are busy doing their thing, getting ready. Like I said, I want to come in here and share, but I don't, like I said, if that's the case, I'll just produce channel content an hour a day or something. I can produce some content. I don't have to produce content every day, but I can produce some pretty good channel content. Go look at the channel content on this video. There's good videos on this channel, and I do with a sticking 4G phone without even having a studio the hard way, So, which takes me a tremendous amount of time, but I don't want to waste time either. Like I said, I don't mind coming in and being the messenger, not at all. But I do like to conversate with the ministry, but it just feels like we're not seeing some of the regulars, and it seems like people come in and just funnel in and out of here real quickly now. We're not getting any stick anymore. Not getting and I'm just still talking about the same things. Actually, things have slowed down. Do I need to start cursing and being that guy again? I don't want to curse at everybody. I apologize for all of that. It was a hard time in my life. I'm still struggling, so I'm trying to keep that to a minimum. So, but anyways, it's not vain. It's not worthless to me. So, I'm letting you know, but, just seems like in the last couple months, boy, we really have had just ever since they took the AdSense away from me, and because that's part of the monetization. First, the monetization, sent the AdSense, and we just don't get any traffic flow in here. It's just like the basics. A couple people come in, but not a lot. So, and that's still okay. I just don't want to. I don't want to, waste any time. Time's really important right now. Do everything I can to get ready in this time. So maybe that's what it is. Father's saying, nope, stay busy. So, and I do, but after working, this is kind of a reward to come in here and share my time with the people that I love, the people that I feel like I'm going to be with after I die, because I don't really have anybody on this rock other than my son that I've made any kind of a connection to. So it's okay. Father's will be done. So set apart. It's crazy. I could walk away I could walk away and go walk away, and I'll come back in there. There'll be more people in the, and then when I come back, everybody runs off. So I don't know what's going on. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not some perfect person, but I try not to waste time. I've got so many things to do. It's not valuable for me to throw time away, because I don't, time is more valuable than money. It is to me. I've talked about that over and over in here. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't appreciate the people who do come back and frequent the channel. So like I said, feels like the channel is not, this isn't come in here to share the gospel. That's what we're here to do. We can talk about events and things that are going on, but more than not, it's about sharing the word. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not growing any corn this year. No corn. I just don't use it. Don't want it. Don't need it. I go buy corn for, probably for the cost it costs to get the water, and just buy it for feed if I needed it that way. But I grow everything else. I'm going to grow everything else I can. So I said, I don't know what one of those cans of the Augustin Farms costs right now, but it's a good investment. I'm glad I bought them. I think I paid about $30 when I bought them, 30 some dollars or something for the seed vault. It's got 13 varieties. It's got 2,300 pounds of produce you can produce, and then produce more food out of that produce, like a never ending repeating pattern. So I don't know what they cost now. Somebody said about $60 when I asked earlier, but what a good deal. Over a ton, that's 22,000 over a ton of food. That's a good deal, man. So good variety too. Like I said, I don't know what they cost right now. I don't know what the cost of a can right now, but this is an older label. You can tell this one's an older. They have a newer label than this one, but it says 2,300 pounds of produce. So good variety too. Like I said, good variety. Green beans, carrots, corn, cucumbers, cantaloupes. So you got some fruit. Onions, peas, peppers, lettuce, spinach, squash, tomatoes, and zucchini. So a nice variety of a little bit of fruit, obviously, with the cantaloupe. You can get other fruit, but these are all open pollinated, non-genetically modified, and that says there's over 8,000 seeds. 8,000 seeds in this seed vault. So comes another tin can. I took the lid off today and opened it up, pulled it out earlier, and showed you guys what was in there. But I think for the money, they're good seeds. You know, they're open pollinated, non-genetically modified. They have another name for them. They call them non-hybrid, non-genetically modified, non-hybrid. So that means that these seeds can be planted year after year, and these seeds will produce fruit or vegetables that produce seeds that you can grow the seeds out of those, or take the plant all the way to seed, grow it out completely, and then the plant will go to seed at the end of its, cycle. So it says that harvested seeds can be planted next year, a lifetime of produce in a single can. Yeah, it's pretty good, nice little seed ball all in one. Like I said, the seeds are decent seeds. I've showed them here. They come with a starter pack. It comes with all your seeds. They're all in a Ziploc bag. Each one is Ziplocked in a Ziploc bag. I bet you these newer ones are better than this old one. Then it comes with all your instructions, with your planting guides on when and the depth and how far apart to plant it. So, um, not and you get the number 10 can when you're done, because I repurpose everything. So, but yeah, what a good deal, you know. Uh, and I bet you, like I said, I bet you they're almost double the price of what I paid for them originally, probably. So they say 5 years on the can, but I don't think if it's been open that anything's going to happen with that can. Those seeds stayed somewhat temperature, and they weren't sitting out in a hot sun, baking in there. They could probably get a little cold is okay. They put seeds in a seed vault, Uh, yeah. Yep. So it's in a number 10 tin can, which is always valuable to have, and it comes with a lid. So what do you pay for that? So yeah, 1 pound of seeds, 1 pound of vegetable seeds. It says there's over 8,000 seeds. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Seeds are. I don't want to say for sure to anybody, but I don't think seeds, as long as they're um, as long as those seeds are not exposed to moisture, they should be okay. Not too hot or not too cold, but as long as they're not exposed, they're not going to germinate. If that seed stays dry, how's it going to go bad? I think the seed could be thousands of years old and still grow food. In my humble opinion, I don't know if I'm humble, but in my opinion, I think seeds could be planted from 1,000 years ago. If it was in a dry, cool place, it never germinated, why wouldn't it start another seed? It's in a freaking vault. It's its own vault, if you will. So I don't think seeds are gonna. When I got these, I was like, damn, in a metal can, all sealed up, because I pulled the top, but all sealed up. Dude, there's no way that's gonna go bad if I can keep that climate controlled. That's something I can put away. My kids' kids could plant these seeds, and probably have pretty good success. So I don't know what people spend their money on. I think I bought about 5 of these, probably about 4 or 5 of these. That's 10,000 pounds worth of food. 5 tons worth of food, over 5 tons, almost like 6 tons of food. That's insane. So, and then anytime you grow something like this successful, man, you got to admit, when you grow your own food, like, man, that tastes so good. When you grow it on your own, you're like, oh man, that's so good. Honey, come try one of my beef eater tomatoes. I forgot what kind of tomatoes these listed, what kind of tomatoes they were in here. They weren't beef eaters, or some other kind of a tomato, but probably something pretty similar to that. Should probably go to the store and get some potatoes. here pretty soon, right? Let those things get all knobby. About the time that they'll be ready to be planted out. Taters. Yeah, it's so nice when you grow something on your own. And you're like, honey, we grew that ourselves. That is so yummy. Try this. We knew we grew it with our water, and we didn't spray it with a bunch of crap and chemicals, and we don't have to wear hazmat suits, and it doesn't sprayed with bugs. Not bug spray, sprayed with bugs, So most of that stuff at the grocery store, that's why I very seldom buy vegetables from the grocery store. They're crap, man. Just like I said, it's not the food that it once was, Um, Yep, that's what I'm saying. That'd be good. Good to go. So potatoes are those tops of potatoes are not as hardy as I'm telling you. Any frost will take out a tomato plant or a potato plant. I have grown potatoes out here year after year, and I'm telling you, we have a hard freeze, and if I don't get them covered up, I lose them every time from that hard freeze. I don't care if it's in the middle of the summer or whatever, or I might get some potatoes underneath, but boy, that's it. They just turn black real quick. They don't last. They're not very hardy and maybe if you grew it from a seed or something, but I'm growing it from another potato. Normally I take potatoes and grow them for make more potatoes out of my potatoes, so to speak. But yep, time to grow. Time to grow. I'm hoping to get enough food produced out here again to have extras for the chickens. It'll help, like I said, toss in extras. I want to grow, lots of extra tomatoes, um, extra, just all of it, all of it. I don't care if I eat any of it. I'll eat some of it. Obviously, I'll eat some of it, but I plan on harvesting a lot of it for the chickens. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, but it seems like every time I grow potatoes out here, I get them going, but then that any kind of cold hard freeze would just kill that top of that tomato plant. And they're not thin either, but boy, they're just not very hardy to the to the cold. So, but yep, just getting prepared. Like I said, that's what I've been getting today. Been working on a little bit of everything, doing a little bit of everything out here. Trying not to overwork myself. I put I bought some I bought all that metal, and there was some grating, like floor grating, thick grating, like that thick that's got the wafer in it, like waffle print style, like but squares. And I pulled those out off the trailer today. They're nice. I put that up front because I had that other plastic, kind of like a baker's rack that you'd stand on, and when your shoes, you know, hit that, it knocks the dirt off. It just keeps it cleaner in here, so that I don't have to worry about um, I have to clean this cabin no matter what. It could be 5 feet of snow on the ground. There's no desert showing anywhere, and this place still gets dusty. How? I never do understand that. So, but anyways, it does help. And then there was one at the bottom too, of the steps too. So that one had a little bend in it, but it's cool because I put it right at the bottom of that step, right at the bottom of the step. So I got a grate at the bottom, big thick grate, and one, I'm feeling that. That's what I was feeling as I lifted it off the trailer by myself that time. It probably weighs, I don't know, it's pretty heavy. That other one's pretty good size. So they're going to work good for just, like I said, it knocks the dirt off your shoes or whatever. And I like having something like that at the door. It helps a lot. Or now I think at the bottom of the stairs, when you first step up there, you can kind of knock your feet off, walk up the steps, and then knock your feet off. And I also have one of those little brushes. Mine's plastic. I need to get another one. I really do. I'd like to get a nicer one. Man, my sciatic is killing me right now. The one I have is plastic, and it's broken. It still works, but it's got it's the thing that where you can put your feet in and dust your feet off, whatever. I need to get another one. This one's all plastic. It's 100% plastic. So both sides of it have cracked. It still works, but it's time to get a new one. It's time to get a better one. Step up the game a little bit. See if I can find a nicer one. I'd like to find one that maybe has some like metal, like brushes in it, that type of. I see them. They normally don't. Normally they have just, like a boot brush or something like that. They'll have, this one's got like an outdoor black thick astroturf on it. That's good. It's for scraping the stuff in between, the little stuff between your, it's not perfect, but it works pretty good. So it just helps. I can't imagine tracking all that in here. I'd have to clean it all out if I track it all in here. So when I live in the dirt out here like I live, it's tough, man. I wish I was just a little bit more wealthy. I don't mean like that. I don't want to be rich, but it'd be nice to have gravel around these, like the cinder around these properties and around the buildings, at least in the walkways, and maybe out trip to the back to the where the wood's at, so I don't have to track all that, but it's okay. I just tromp around in the mud and get all dirty and yucky and live with it and deal with it. So I'm not wealthy like some people. I don't have retirement, or I don't have disability. I don't get VA benefits. I don't get money from the VA. I don't get Social Security. I don't get anything. I got to work for what I have. So I have to start out in the middle of the yucky desert. So one day it'll have gravel around here, and I really want to hopefully maybe before the end of the season. So by the time winter hits, to go over to Cresswell or over to Eugene, or it looks like there's a place here in Bend now that went over and picked up a big load of it. But I want to get some of that AstroTurf out here to lay it down for dust control. It works really nice for dust control. I don't care about the color of it. Whatever. I mean, grass. I don't care about having grass or not having grass. I just like the ability to lay it down. I have a piece laying in front, and it's this paper thin one, and it's hammered. It's time to find a new one. So I hope I can get over there before the end of the winter and get that laid down and have that in. It'd be nice to have it during the summer when it's the most, but another little addition, something out here to. Big Tango used to love to lay out on the front of that, in front of this, cabin, and he loved laying up there. Juniper brings up all her prizes up there. That's where she brings all her mice and birds, and it's kind of like her little area. It doesn't get sunshine up there because this cabin's so tall that it's just right up in front. So, and then it keeps the mud right up away from the front of the cabin here. So I've wore that piece of AstroTurf out, man. It's more like an indoor, and I put it outdoor. So, oh well. I don't remember where I got it. It was a pretty good sized roll. It was nice when I got it. It was brand new when I got it. So, but that stuff that they got at the, that you can buy is like, they take this out of like football stadiums, college football stadiums, and, and it's like this thick, it's thick. It's not this thick. It's this thick. It's, yeah, I think I've had it for probably 6 years now. I've had that carpet up in front of this cabin, whatever, up in front. It was like one of the first things I did just for dust control. I had it somewhere else, and then I'm like, no, I don't want it to get ruined. And then I put it up here, and over time it's got ruined. But it's like, well, it's not an outdoor, it's an indoor. I'll find somewhere. I'll put it up on top of the roof. It was something like if I would have put it on the top of the roof up here, it was like an indoor outdoor, but it wasn't that thicker, heck yeah, it's only got a couple holes in it. So that's what I'm saying. I and I think I got it at like at a estate sale or something. I'll probably pay like $10 or something for it, $10 for 6 years. But if I would have put it up on top of the roof up here, for an outdoor, because that's when I saw it. I was like, oh, well, man, one day I might put a patio up there. It'd be awesome to have some outdoor carpet up there, and see, even now I would put that thicker stuff up there. If I did an outdoor, if I put it up there, I just buck up and figure out how to put that thicker, nicer stuff up there too. But it would work up there, you know what I'm saying? And it probably wouldn't have any holes in it, and it'd be just fine. It'd probably last for 10 years up there, Maybe not though, because it'd be in the direct sun. I think one of the reasons why it's lasted longer out too, because it's in front of this cabin and it doesn't get that direct sunlight. It's always shaded, so there's it's not been in the direct sunlight, which gives it more longevity in the high desert. So we do get some of that penetrating sunlight out here. It does. It can get pretty 4,500, 46, 5,000 feet in the air. You know that sun hits that a little differently in the high desert out here. So definitely can look forward to in the future getting some more of that dust control, because that's what I use it for. Things like that. The gravel is not for vanity, because I want it to look a certain way. Although the red rock it has an appeal out here because it's in the desert. Cinder, the cinder, they can get it in red or black. I like the red. It just has a neat appearance to it. It has a neat out here where I live in the desert. All the roads get cinder put on them, so it looks like there's cinder. All the roads are red. Looks like they're red, on the sides of the road. All the sides of the road are red in most places out here in the high desert, which is cool because I like that look, the cinder look, like they get it out of the cinder. So I'm definitely going to try to put cinder around the new place, though. You know what I'm saying? Whenever the new place comes in, I'll make sure that I have shoot that area all cindered before I'll probably put the pit runner, the 3/4 minus underneath, but all around it, I'm going to put the cinder around that building. So just because I just think it, like I said, we'll see. I got to just do it one step at a time. Like I said, I've got to bite off. Like I said, the permits are about 3,000. The electric's about 3,000. The septic is about 6,000. So, and so 6, 9, 12, and then figure out the building. So that's what I've been thinking about. I want to go down and talk with the building and not planning, but the construction in the building, and see if they'll let me use reclaimed materials. Tell them, look, I do reclaimed. That's like the thing. It's a modern day thing, using reclaimed materials, as long as it calls out for a 2x6 or whatever, and it's not shot, and it's got, it's all there, and it's not a bad board. Can I use reclaimed material? I've been thinking about just building all the walls right now. Just build the walls. I'll build every wall, all the walls, all the exterior walls, and I'll figure out how to get a set of trusses. There's a truss company down there. I don't want to deal with the guy, but whatever. I see him online or whatever down the road or something. Get a set of trusses for it, but then I'll have all my walls, because I don't think I'm going to do the interior with walls. The only thing interior is going to be the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a studio, more like a studio. It won't have a bedroom in it. It'll be all open studio. Actually, I want to see if I can, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do all that. That's like I said, I could just start collecting material. Actually, I was thinking about ripping all this material off of this thing and starting to redo this with the other material that I have, that I'm using for fence boards, that I should be using for this building if I can. You know what I'm saying? So, right. So, but I need to go talk to him and sit down and see if I can get this building to pass. Because if I get this building to pass, I'm just going to use this building. I don't want to. If I can get this building to pass and I have to make some modifications to it, I will. I'll probably just extend this wall, like I said, out. I'm going to take this wall behind me and go back 3 or 4 feet if they let me, or I'll just, whatever, whatever works. I got to figure out a way to make that work, because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might be able to find a single wide. If I'm given abundance like Rick, he paid not a lot for his, I'll tell you that. Now, it's old, it's an 80, and it's a lot of mice and rat poop and, whatever, but I don't care about that. I'll clean all that up. I'll strip it all out and start all over. If I get a frame, something that'll pass, I'll start with the frame, because I've said that before. So, you know what I'm saying? Not a frame, but a shell. Good bones. If I can find something with some good bones, I'll go with that too. So, but then I just started thinking, well, maybe I should just build my own. I know how to build. I know how to do calf cow and bull cow. I know how to double top plate. I know how to, build a stem wall. I know how to set a foundation. I know how to build. So why not just build something and see what's the smallest? Some people build little tiny cabins out here. I'm not kidding, Sabrina, like 300 square feet, 400 square feet, 500 square feet, little buildings. And they got power and it's easy to heat and easy to cool. Think about it. They're little studios, but they're easy to heat and easy to cool. And they get addresses on them because they put in septic. And so maybe I'll just build a building. You know what I mean? The thing that's a little bit hard is the foundation. Like, I don't know exactly what they want. I mean, I know in multiple ways. I was looking into it last night, you know. Well, like I said, you know, I can just build a building, you know. If it's got to be 2x6 exterior walls, then I need to start sourcing 2x4s or 2x6s. 2x6s, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, people do that out here. People do those yurts out here. I know people can pass a yurt. How the hell could you pass a yurt? How could somebody get a yurt pass, but I can't have a semi-trailer? So, but if 2x6s, because you have to have 2x6 exterior for code for a stick-built home, for a wooden stick-built home, well, then I'm just going to start collecting every 2x6 I can get my hands on. You know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts, you know, like maybe I can just start building the walls out. I'll build them in 10-foot sections, you know what I'm saying? 20-foot sections. 10, 20, 30, maybe, 10 to just make 10-foot walls. Frame in a couple windows. Then I can just later stand them up, put them on my foundation. I've already built homes like that. Spec homes, you build them off a 4x8 sheet of plywood. It all gets racked on that corner. It's like a 90, like a framing square. Once you start that corner, the whole wall is already racked in and straight all the way down. It's pretty awesome. I built many different ways. I built custom homes, but I built inside on a table and built everything where you take it out. It's a kit and you bring it out and you stand all the walls up. So that's what I was thinking about, building it that way, just start building my walls. I mean, it's not that big. I don't need that big of a building. I'm thinking 10 by 30. That's plenty big. That's not that many 2x6s. I'll start a price and, I'll start looking. Maybe I'll just go buy 2x6s brand new, buy a pallet of them. You know what I'm saying? That's all the 2x6s I would need, other than top plates. If I needed to buy, whatever. I see them, people sell pallets of them, a whole pallet of them at a reduced rate, something like that. Buy a pallet of them and go to work, figure out how many I need. It's 16 on center. So you can figure out every 16 inches you need, nice. Yep. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll probably loft. I'll have a loft there, but in that. So I was thinking of actually making the back wall taller. Probably make it 8, and then 10 is fine. They can have a little bit of vault to it. That way you can put a loft up on the back side of the, maybe make it a little bit taller. Whatever, you can pony wall it up and do it a little bit taller. It doesn't have to be, I know how to do all that, to build pony walls and still make them how to do that, like I said. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go meet with see if I can meet with the building people with the building, and and see how they can, because I could start doing that. I just start building 10-foot sections, 10, 20, 30, 40. If I want to make it 10, if I want to make it 20 by or whatever, I just have to add, like I said, a cowl or a half or a full cowl. That's to tie your walls together, so, and windows are just adding a crippler and a king stud and a header, and I know how to do it. I'm saying? These are basic. Framing is simple. So I just thought, hey, I could start building some of this right now, and the heck waiting for a building and trying to find a building. Just build it, just build it. I'd have to set the foundation, but that's fine. I can do a foundation. That's not rocket science. I'll see what the code's calling for out here. I don't know how much compaction. I don't know what they're, if I have to put a stem wall, what I've built it multiple ways. So, I've built many different houses in my day. So I'm not sure, if, what kind of flooring, if it's TGI or, if they'll call for a 10-inch board on the floor for flooring or, you know, so I'm going to see what it is. And that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm just going to build it. It's not like it's building a building is easy. I have all the siding, you know what I'm saying? I have siding, I have tin, I have the roofing, I have sinks, I need to get a flushing toilet, big deal. Actually, I'd want to get the one that uses the least amount of water, right? But I don't need a lot. I was looking at it, I could build this for a lot less than I was thinking, especially if I can source the materials from some repurposed material, reclaimed. Can I use reclaimed material? If I can use reclaimed material and it's solid enough to pass, I think I'm just going to get busy out here and start building walls. Heck with building this fence right now. I'm going to stop building this fence because it's not like it's that hard. But I'm saying just tinkering and start building walls. 10 foot, 8 foot, whatever. Figure out what I'm going to do and go from there. Because a building is not that hard to build. Like I said, I've built many houses, so I'm starting to think. I was looking at material going, I can pull this off. I don't care if it's studio inside, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that's going to probably be separate is a bathroom. So those could be 2x6 walls in the interior. And I don't really even need to probably call out any 2x6 interior walls. I could just make it a studio. I don't even have to tell them it's lofted. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do any of that. I can just build a square cracker box building and do whatever I want to add to it later or whatever. Put it in walls, interior, 2x4 or whatever walls or whatever, I'll probably call out a wall in the bathroom, but that's it. I don't need to do anything else. I just need to build a square, you know what I'm saying? And put a lid on it. And I have roofing material. I have siding. I have some really nice old rusty tin siding that I might not, mind using that for my siding. I was really thinking about, using it like a chair railing on the bottom, put wood down towards the bottom and then put that up top. Just put that up on the top. They're real long sheets. So I might use them for roofing too. They're real long. They're like 20-foot long sheets. So might just make a big old slope building like that. And come down like that, not tilted like in the box, tilted like this. Maybe not, my trusses are just make long, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't need that much, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't need that much. I was only thinking, man, maybe not buy anything. Hold on. Most people just can't build. They don't know how to build. I know how to build. Why don't I just build it myself? It's not like I'm trying to build some custom home that's got hit back vaults and, this is not, I'm talking about a freaking cracker box, something that's pretty basic, a square. I don't even want to try to build it, a rectangle. I'm not trying to put any weird angles or do any kind of, that's what I was just thinking, maybe a nice big long, Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? I was thinking, why? What do you? Because I'm not stressing. I'm like, well, what do I do about this house? You know. So what if I have to get an inspection? I need an inspection either way. I don't think it's going to cost me anymore. I'm going to actually ask that, see if I have to have an additional cost. I think my inspection's my inspection, but I might have to pay more, and I might add that into it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think I even want to gable it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to do a gable. Why in a barger? Why? I don't need it. I don't, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I could just build a nice, long, shed, like you said. Yeah, a shed, you know. And I could do it long way too. You know what I'm saying? I could make it long rectangle and make that roof come long that way. Not this way. but long that way too. Just long enough pitch so it can roll off water and snow, right? I don't know what the pitch is. If 3-6, what 12? I don't think not gonna put no 12, like that's on again. But what is the? I don't know for out here what the snow pitch is, and look into that and just build it. What I'm saying, it's not. Or do it the other way. It can go this way, but I was actually thinking, since I have some really long pieces of tin, man, I could run those things all the way down. You could have 20-foot long sheeting, roofs on it. This is one long, yeah, that's what I was actually thinking the other day is 12, because that's 4 by sheet and a half, right? 12, or no, 8, yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because that's what I was building it on the way home the other day. I was like, wait a minute, not 10, 12, half sheet, 4 and 8, right? 12 foot by 20, or maybe even 30, because if I go 12 over here, foot wall over here, and then 8 foot over here, what kind of pitch is that going to give me? What kind of pitch does that give me if I pitched it long ways? You know what I'm saying? That way I could put that loft back up there. Back up there. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously, like I said, you got to put angles on your pony wall. You have to build a pony wall up in there, right? Build that pony wall, but that's whatever. You just figure out what your angles. That's not like that's, and that's, there's nothing there. Like I said, that's, I'm trying to think about your corner. Corner's the same way, you got a full cow in that corner there and a full cow in that corner, right? Full cow, that meets that, full cow, bang, 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 we're tying in, double top plates, right? No, would I have double top plate on that? Because how would that top plate be? I wouldn't have a top plate like that since it was angled like this. Normally if it's a flat, do you have to double top plate? Whatever, even if you had the double top plate, it don't matter either way. So, because you've got this one coming down on that angle. Or you can do it the other way, build it that way too. But I think I don't know. I just think the idea, yeah, okay, so you still double top plate it, and then, okay, I've never built one like that, a house like that. I built all kinds of custom, but okay, yeah, so double top plate, so it all racks in, and yeah, so I was thinking, fire blocking and, bird blocking if you're up top, and some backers, and bam, I'm in. Man, I got me a building. And I actually want to see if they'll let me leave it open cell. I want open cell. I want to see if I can use a thin bat, what kind of if I can use the Mylar or whatever kind of insulation that I can use so that I can open cell. I want to leave an open cell if I can. You know what I mean? And then put wood up against that. I want that all wood with open cell like I did on the Rusty Dragon. I'll see if they'll let me do it like that. If not, then that's fine. I'll put whatever, rock wool or whatever, Owens corianing or whatever. I'll figure out what they'll allow me to do. But I know it's pretty simple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, I'd like to actually just use the Mylar, you know what I mean? Or the whatever the foam that's rolls out. It's like yellow or white, or, it's about that thin. And it's got R factor. And a lot of the times they'll let you put that, what I'm saying, up in an open cell. You're not closing that out with drywall. You want that cell to be open so you can use a thinner insulation. I think you can use double Mylar. If it's got Mylar on both sides. That's what I did over there at the Rusty Dragon. All that's double Mylar and the yellow. I overdid that building, way overdid it. So I really wish I would have just put 2x6 exterior walls. I could pass that building so quick. I know I could. It's so solid. That building is, I can't imagine the weight of that building. It's solid. I built it like I would have built a house. It's exactly the way I would have built a house. In some things, it's overboard. I did a little bit more too. So, but I knew that it's just a shed. It's not a home. But either way, I'm going to see what they'll allow me to do. Maybe they'll allow me to do an open cell. Because I know that in like shipping containers, they allow that. So we'll see. I'm going to get there. Like I said, I want to go down and talk to them, but I think I'm just going to build this house, man. I think I'm going to build it. To heck with putting a house in here. You know, like you said, if I do 2x8 floor joists or 2x10, I don't know what kind of, you know, floor joists, if it has to be a TGI or, because I don't want the chipboard nasty stuff. If I don't have to use those, I don't want to have to use those. Do they want me to put out a stem wall, you know, in block, or will they let me set it up on post and pier? Do I want to try to dig, you know, is there a basement? Do I want to, you know, I don't want to do anything that I don't necessarily have to do. I want to try to keep it as simple as possible. So, don't think I want to pour a slab, you know, I don't think I need to pour a slab. Slab's not necessary, right? So they'll probably just let me do post, you know, or pier blocks. Okay, so 2x8 for your flooring, sitting on a, you know, that rim sitting on a. Can that sit on a pier? On a pier block? Because I've always built a stem wall. When I built a house, we put on a stem wall, put down a stem wall, you know what I'm saying? Rolled that TJI over the top of the, you know, the stem wall and on block. And so you can put on a pier block with enough compaction. Okay. Kind of like you build a deck, right? You know, the way a deck sits on a pier block or something, you know. I don't mean to go there, but a nice big ass deck, you got to put on big pier blocks. And so, all right, I gave away all my pier blocks, but that's all right. Kevin got a bunch of them, but he needed them, so they're not that expensive. I'll find some more of them. So, but yeah, okay, pier block. So there we go. Simple, man. Simple. So I'm even thinking about building a stem wall. See if they'll let me build a stem wall. It's not that much. I have block back there. You know what I'm saying? It's extra concrete, but I like the idea of building off a stem wall. You know, couple blocks high, 2 or 3 blocks high, and then roll in your yeah, that's a lot of concrete though, you know. Slab's a lot of concrete. I don't know, what is a slab, what is it, $700 or something for a truck to come out here? That'd probably be enough to do a, you know, a slab. What was it, 7 yards or something I got last time, something like that. It was $600 or $700, I think it was. Yeah, you know, I hear you. I like the idea of putting up a stem wall, though. You know what I'm saying? Pouring that footer, putting in a stem wall, and you know, building up off the top of that stem wall. That way you got a little crawl space. I like crawl space. You know, I grew up on a slab home. I grew up living on slab homes. I knew what slab. That's the way I grew up. That's all I knew. I didn't know they even had basements, or I never saw anything like. I mean, I knew there was a basement, but not where I just didn't. Everything was slab home where I grew up. So that's what I'm used to. But once I started building houses and stuff, and seeing, you know, like pouring the concrete slab for the driveway and the garage, but the rest of the house is up on a stem wall and sits up and gives you that crawl space underneath. So I like the idea of having a little bit of crawl space, but we'll see. I don't want to do anything that's unnecessary. 100% don't care. Maybe they'll let me put it up on one block. Maybe, I don't know how, but I'm going to figure out how the floor. The only thing I'm concerned out here is the floor. The rest of it will be easy. It's not like I can't set the floor. I just don't know what the code is calling for to set a floor out here for, you know, for what it is that I'm trying to build. So something simple, man. I think that's what I'm going to do, because my mind is just going, how am I to get this building? How am I going to afford this building? How am I going to get this building? Start building it now. Get boards, find material, source good material. If they'll let me use reclaimed material, good, solid reclaimed material, that's why I'm going to go on a freaking mission to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Find as many 2x6s as I can get my hands on. If I got to go buy it new, I will. I don't want to buy it new, but if I have to buy it by the pallet, I will buy a pallet of 2x6s and start framing. Because framing, I could have the walls built in no time, you know. couple, 2-3 days, I could have all the walls built, you know, windows cut in, headers in, the whole thing. You know, like I said, if I had all the material here, absolutely doing it with the freaking nail, with the tool belt, not even using yeah, that's why I like the idea of a slab home, you know what I'm saying? Seriously, then you just run your lag bolts down into the concrete. If you didn't run a J bolt, right? If you run a J bolt, then it'll already be there for you. But that's how I like the idea of running the stem wall too, because a lot of the times those J bolts are sitting right there, and then you're tying in your your wall goes right on top of that. But uh, no piers, no joists, no insulation. Okay, I'll consider that, right? Because I'm only going to probably call for one, you know, I'm just one truck, one truck. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I agree with you. When you do the cost of buying post and insulation, and I don't. Do you need piers? Does this have to sit on a pier, or can it sit right on that? Or I mean, on the pier, not on the post? You know what I'm saying? Because that just stands you up higher. On the span. Okay. Pier blocks, I'm sure, but no post. Like I said, it can sit right on a pier block. But I don't know about your outer corners, but your inner. What do you use on an outer corner? I've used pier blocks before on an outer corner, like that building sitting on pier blocks all the way around. It is, and throughout, I put all pier blocks on it. Even in the corners. But I don't know what you do on a corner, um, because it hangs out. Remember that pier? It hangs. So because I know that it sits right on that joist, right? It goes right down on the joist. That joist sits in that. It's got the thing for either. It's different ones. They have different ones, right? Obviously, for you got the ones with the clip for a 4x hanger for like doing, you know, um, decks. Yeah, so I'll have to pour the stem wall perimeter. So that's what I was thinking. Because I don't know how many bags of concrete that could be. That's not a super big job. But if I poured if I poured a stem wall perimeter, that's probably what I'm going to do. Is I'll probably pour a stem wall and put it up on block. I think it'll look nice. I've got some of that mocha block that I like it, and then I can run concrete, run my J bolts through there, and go straight into like I said, put flooring straight down on that, and it's just something I'm familiar with. Um, and then all that flooring comes right. All those bolts tie right into your flooring. You know, hold your flooring down, and yeah, go from there. Pretty simple. Gets it up off the ground, gives you some. Um, but I don't know. I'll see whatever they want, whatever they call for. It might be a little different out here. I've done it a couple of different ways. Like I said, slab, and I've built them up on pier posts before. I built a house like that, and then put it on actual, like I said, a stem wall. With then roll your floor joists out over the top of that. And pretty simple, like Ryan said. Stand your walls up. So I'm thinking have all my walls built already. Have all the walls built already. Go find my windows, whatever I want for windows in it. Put those in it now. You know what I'm saying? That stuff could all be sitting there ready to go. Bang, bang, bang. I built spec homes before. I built homes in a inside a. We didn't do it for very long. We actually like building outside, but on top of a table. and building spec homes off a 4x8 sheet of plywood. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe should run with that. Just get the walls one wall at a time. Got that wall done, that wall done, that wall done. Next thing I know, I got all the walls. Now I don't need to worry about a house per se because I've got all the walls. They're all sheeted. Headers are in, windows are in. You know what I mean? I've got the walls there ready to go. And that's what I think might intimidate some people, honestly, to build a house. Well, per se, I mean, if I was going to do a bigger house, obviously more, but we're talking about building a square, a rectangle, 4 flipping walls, man. How hard is that to do? So that's what I was thinking. If they'll let me use reclaimed material, man, I'm gonna strip every freaking board off of the outer portion of this building and use them. I will. I'm gonna use them, and then I'm gonna bring back in this other slab like I got on the other houses out here. It'll look good. It'll match what's already out here. So, and then I'll use that to build the other building. So, if not, I might have to go buy a whole pallet of 2x6s. So, I don't know how much pallet is. I think it was like $400 or $500 a pallet. Used, somebody not used, but I'm saying not from Home Depot, but I don't think they were super expensive either for 2x6s. I don't know what grade, if they have a certain grade that you have to buy. I don't want to cut corners, but I think as long as it's kiln dried, I think like $5 or $6 for a stick, for an 8-foot stick of and I don't think I want to do 8-foot walls. I would like to at least have 10-foot ceilings inside the building. Like I said, and maybe loft it on the one end. We'll see. If I get a set of trusses, I might just do trusses too. Double top plate it, just build a square. I don't have to build no pony walls. I mean, pony walls aren't very hard to build either. So I think it's something I can pull off. I'm starting to get some confidence, guys, going here with this house. You know what I'm saying? Because I could build a smaller building. I can build a smaller building. I don't need to build anything big. Like Ryan said, 12 by 20. That's not a bad size building. That's a good size little building. That's comfortable. Easy to heat, easy to cool. Especially if I'm running electric heat in there, so to speak. So, I mean, would you go 12 by 30? That's pretty good size too. I think 12 by 30 would work. Seriously. I don't know what that would cost, material wise, but I don't think that's more than a pallet's worth of 2x6s though. I don't, 16 on center. We can do the math. Not that hard, right? So, all right. Hey guys, let me go. I got to go put up my ladies. Got to put up my birds. I'm going to shut the birds up. So give me a minute and I'll be back in and we'll continue to have our conversation here. I think the birds are up. Yeah, they got it right now. That boy's probably ready for Dan as well. All right, I still got some birds out there. Hold on one more minute here. Give me a moment. All right, we're back. Okay, well, those chickens. I got that one lady, she got her eye pecked out, I guess. I'm not sure what happened to her eye, but she's not going in the coop. So I thought it was another one. There's still a couple more out, so you have to wait a little bit longer before they'll. You want to go outside there? Go. It's time for dinner. I put your dinner out there. You got a whole big dinner for the girl. You've been there, get warm on the girl. Over here, girl. Over here. Over here. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. All right. So again, I'm thinking this is something I can pull off. I was, there's cost, obviously talking, Ryan, because having a conversation, it sounds like you've done some of these. So like I said, I think my biggest thing is if they'll let me use reclaimed material, man, I could save a tremendous cost. What are you doing, buddy boy? What are you doing? Just come trying to hang out with the dad. Gonna come trying to hang out with the dad. No, because he just wants to come be with the dad for a minute. Be with the dad for a minute. Be with the dad for a minute. He's my boy that I love. He's a good boy today. This is just a bone guy. We love him. We just love this guy. He's just a snuggle buddy. Snuggle buddy. You're just the happiest boy that ever did have today. You're my boy. You were so good today. How are you so good today? How are you always such a good boy? You're just the best boy I ever had. He's my bestest puppy I ever did have. He is. He's the best guy. Oh, I love him. He's such a good boy. He's such a good guy. Okay, all done. All done. He's gonna go over there and go crazy. He's gonna go crazy over there. Got some of his hair in my eyes, knucklehead. He does. He gets it. He's so freaking hairy and dusty and hairy and dusty. What are you doing? You being a good boy? Are you being good? Are you the best puppy there ever was in the whole wide world? My little dingo boy. Crazy dingo. Crazy dingo. He's a crazy dingo. So, I love that puppy so much. He loves the dad too. He does. He loves the dad. He's always with the dad. He was with the dad. What do you got in that nose? What are you smelling? What do you smell? I've seen that nose wiggle. What are you smelling? You are so handsome, guy. Mr. Handsome Pants. Mr. Handsome Yotterbone. I love it. So, anyways, it worked a little bit more again. Got some more stuff done outside today. Kind of tinkered around. Got some more fence done. Got to move the windmill blade. So I was out there thinking, man, if I could use repurposed material, I could start putting source in some of this material now. You know what I mean? Maybe I could trade off some things too for material. Start trying to trade. I mean, I'm already advertising to trade, but I know somebody that has a pool of some resources. It would be a hard, it's like got to go through a lot of stuff to get to what they have. But even if it was one wall of 2x6s or something, so start sourcing this stuff, because it's just a building. It's not that hard to build. I mean, I know how to build, so I think I can come up with. I've got some header material for windows. I know how to build. Uh, basic. I mean, it's very basic. Houses are not very complicated to do the framing. Okay, I mean there is some tricky things when you do customs, when you're doing, I don't know. It's not the interior framing is pretty simple. The ceiling and the vaulting, with hit back and things like that can get a little bit complicated and different, but it's not, I'm not doing anything like that on this building. So I'm glad it kind of came to me, because I really like to try to find a building, but I don't mind putting a building out here. You know what I'm saying? That'd be, as long as it, and like I said, I mean, I don't need to build that large of a building. There are smaller buildings. I'm looking around this valley and going, some people built some smaller buildings out here, and I see why. It's just like I said, they're probably retired and they don't want a big space to look after. I mean, these are smaller homes. They're like what you would think is a tiny home, or just a little bit bigger than that. Because a tiny home, when I imagine a tiny home, I imagine a tiny home on wheels. Something you pull behind a vehicle, not as a fixed permanent thing, but it is a thing now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people live in freaking cages over in Taiwan and Hong Kong and, China. People live in just little tiny spaces. So, um, how big of a building, or maybe I'll find that out. How big of a building? Maybe Ryan's right. 12 by 20 is that's a building. That's a big enough building. I just think, maybe a little bit more, to give a little bit more, because I would want to try to build a studio out, for the ministry, to have a place, and a place to have a washer and a dryer, and so maybe a little bit bigger, give myself a little bit more space to work, so I can have, some separation of space in there. Uh, no, I totally understand how 12 by 20. I could do the math in my head. I was like, I told you, you're right. In my head, I already saw the math. Well, whatever, because I understand I build home. Remember, I told you I built spec homes, so there's no waste. It's a wasteless, on center. 4, 12, 8, 12, 16. So it makes sense. It makes sense to do like I said, 30 is an oddball. It's odd. It's odd size. So, um, because you when you, like I said, you build out, obviously you can build 12, and you can go further, like I said, because they do 10-foot boards. You buy 10-foot sticks, or you buy 20-foot sticks, or you buy 8-foot sticks. So, that's generally how lumber is sold, either in an 8-foot, 10-foot, or a 20-foot stick. They don't generally sell a 12-foot stick. Not very often. They have, or they do. I've seen it, but like I said, it's 8 and 10. There are 12s, but 20 is normally it bounces up. I've seen 12, but it's not as often. Like I said, so. But again, when he's talking about 12, we're not talking about height. We're talking about length of a building. Length. 12 is a 4x8 sheet of flooring or plywood, and a half sheet across, so that goes from one side to the other without cutting off any waste. Simple. Cut it in half, and now you already have your half sheet for the other side. And you stagger it all. That's stagger. He knows what I'm talking about. You're always gonna, like you build a brick building, you're always gonna put your stagger halfway, down, to give yourself that coverage, to yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of building 10-foot. If it'll allow me, I think it just make more sense if I'm in a smaller space, build a taller building. I don't care if the lumber costs me more to have a 10-foot building. I think it makes sense to have a 10-foot walls in there. So I'm thinking to try to get a set of trusses. I'd like the idea of building, but I'm going to see if I can locate a set of trusses because I don't mind. Like I said, there's not. You know, it's okay. I can pull it off to having a vaulted, and it's okay. Maybe I won't. So, uh, yeah, absolutely. Heat and cool too. Heat and cool. So same thing. So, um, so what is the cutoff? So it's 12, 12. So you got to go the other way. That's the even. That's how you got to make it. So you make that building right. So it's 12, 24, right, or 8, 6, or 32. So to make it even, to um, so yeah, that's where I'd have to stay smaller if I built it as a slab. Series is a slab home. That's just like I say, concrete because you got to have rebar, and I have rebar. I have rebar. I don't know if I have enough, but I've got rebar. So I bought a lot of materials through the years. Like I said, there's things like I said. I think I can. Man, I'm glad this is coming to me. I think I can pull this off. Uh, Absolutely, sure. We have overhang on as far as the roof line. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out, and once I sit down and talk with the building, the people at the building, and let them know my, again, I think most people probably put in a modular home or single wide because it's cheap. If you can get one cheap, it's very real. It's one of the cheapest ways to set a home out here. But most people can't build a home. They just don't have the confidence or the know-how, although they could if they tried to do it. And so I think it only makes sense for me to not set a single wide out here. Although they're nice and easy to set and bang bang and you're in. I like the idea of it because I could just remodel the whole thing. Just skin it and not even worry about it. Just cover it up. Go Alaska on it. They do that in Alaska. I'm not the first place I've ever seen, nor the only place, excuse me, but where they do it like that in Alaska. They just bury a little trailer into the big old nice huge home, and one room is a trailer. It started out, I mean, a little can ham or something. Literally just buried it in the house. So, because there's always such things as porches and screening in porches, and what I mean, and decks and things like that, where you can add more, you know, space to the. So I should think about that too. You know what I mean, Ryan? I can still add a deck. You know what I mean? If I've got overhang, like you're saying, because actually I was thinking of trying to buy some oversized trusses. There's a truss company down the road, and if the guy might sell me some trusses, if he's got an extra set out there, I'd like them to be a little big, and then I can overhang them and set those on post, and let that overhang and make a deck. Just build it right into the house. I've seen people do that. You know what I'm saying? An oversized truss. You know, not too big, but where it's gonna not support. But I'm talking people. Oh, I don't even know how much you can overhang if you have an actual. If you have a a post and a pier. Or like a you know uh, yeah, I don't know what the overhang 6 8 feet would be awesome. You know what I'm saying, and have that. You know, so be kind of a cool if you had a 10-foot building or 10-foot walls, right? To heck with trying to build a salt box, with that sloper, like whichever you call it. Just go ahead and put a truss on it and buck up and find the truss, but then overhang that truss and cantilever that out, and then build that deck underneath it, and screen that bad boy in, and then build walls. To put a, technically you could leave some of it screened in, but then fill it all in. And later, then you got, whatever. And that doesn't need to be, what I'm saying? It's not going to matter once you put that first building in. Like, you know what I'm saying? You build a deck, see, it's right there. They're not going to even think. So I think that'd be a, you know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This, I plan to put a deck underneath that and put that out and have it overhang and, posts going around. And so could be done, as long as you don't go too big. I think you'd be all right. I've been eyeing a set of trusses down there. He gets trusses out there, and sometimes I don't know if they build the wrong ones or they don't go out or whatever. But every once in a while, the set, they get sets build up, and then he eventually sold them all. I really wish I was in the position to have bought all those, because I would have built greenhouses out of all of them. Literally, like, put them above the ground, and that would have been all the pitch for all these greenhouses that would have been underground or above ground greenhouses, because some of them were pretty tall that it, just, puts enough spacing in between them. If they're sitting on the ground, you could probably even get away with, I don't know how much you do on center, maybe 16, maybe 24 if they were locked in, and then build the inside, whatever, and make it into an indoor, uh, garden or something like that is what I was going to try to, use him for, because he had probably like 20 sets of trusses out there over the last 10 years, and he stacked them and he got rid of them. But I'm starting to see some more show up there, and I'm thinking I looked at the smallest set they had. Maybe he'll come off one of those sets or something and go over there. If not, whatever. I could build trusses. Trusses aren't but it's already there. He's already got, it's already nail plate. Already got the press, the plates, all nail plate. It's a truss company, so these are true trusses. So, but that's what I was thinking is, um, yeah, yeah, that building turned out all right, man. It not bad, and I'm glad I went. And I was looking at it the other day when I went back, because I put all the blocking in between, all the spacing of the trusses, so that when that I put the lid on it, when I put that lid on it, it's going to be slick. You know what I'm saying? Not like that. It's just going to be nice. It's a nice building. It's a nice addition to the ministry. It's not some. I don't mean to go there. I don't know if you've ever heard this term, but it's just something I grew up. We said it. I call it chachi. Something's chachi or white trash looking. Um, you know what I'm saying? I don't want something to look all chachi out here all night. Even the green on the strip on the top. I'm like, no, but I do want that now. I want that on there front and back. I will, but I think I want somebody to do it. I'll find the right person, because it's got that mint green that the truss is, that a couple of these buildings out here that's on the inside of the Rusty Dragon. It's a garden. It can have a little color. Everything doesn't need to be all cowboy whitewash. In my brain, it should be. So it's hard to not go up there and paint it with some khaki or something, right? But I want to have somebody paint some nice, like my mom was really, um, good at painting flowers, lots of, vining and lots of flowers, really intricate. I'd like to have somebody put some nice flowers, paint some flowers on that, and that little green strip. But anyways, it's just the tin. I backed it with the tin, to just give it that really nice, so I went and bought more roofing for it, and the better roofing. Shouldn't have cut corners the first time, but I didn't know exactly my spacing and didn't have the money at the time. So, but the roofing is in there, and I plan on stuffing that thing. The full that thing is going to be just, hey, that's going to be a big part. And I was actually, before I came on here, I was thinking I'm going to build next to that building, because that's over where the water is at for now, and it'd be the easy, rather than carry water. It's going to make more sense to, because I'm not going to be able to grow all the food I need to grow inside that smaller building, but it will probably grow the ladies. I'll probably grow ladies in there, is what I'm thinking. It'd probably be a good spot. There'll be more room than for just the ladies in there, but you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about building another building, not literally a building, but building like a lean to out of some of the bigger material that I have out here, something that I can cover for just the winter. Something I can, I have some plastic and stuff that I could, um, greenhouse it, make it a greenhouse. And then if you want to tear down that material for the winter, you have the frame, like a bones structure is what I was thinking about putting right next to that. But that's probably what I'm going to try to do, is grow up against that. And so I have that challenge to build that out too this year. And it's not much, not much, but I want to try to build like a, like, you see them, they're like an arbor, kind of a deal, but they've got the roofing in it, kind of a slat where you can, you know, little bit bigger. Something I can staple up some plastic to, hang some stuff up, whatever, and have some kind of truss system, just a simple pitch up top or whatever. Um, and then, use it as kind of a greenhouse frame is what I was thinking and do this year. Maybe I'll add to it next year, but I got some larger poles. I'll sink them probably right into the ground, like I do a lot of stuff in here. Just build it right into the ground, and someday I'll probably want to go back and pour a bunch of concrete around all my poles. But for now, everything's pretty good in the desert here, so um, we don't get a ton of moisture like that out here, so we don't get that rot. But anyways, yeah, that way I can continue like to grow all this stuff right here that I've got out here, all my, because I'm gonna have vining, cantaloupe, and that other melon, that whatever that was, that all is gonna, it spreads out and goes bananas, right? So um, yeah, I'll have to have more room. So I'd like to grow some of this vining stuff up too. See if I can get some of it. Peas, they need to go up. So, um, but I'm gonna probably. I don't think I'm gonna grow a whole lot more, but I'll probably get some more. Like I said, I'll probably get some starts. Probably grow some broccoli and some cauliflower, and I don't think didn't have those in there. And probably a little bit more lettuce, and just I want to have an abundance this year so that I can just smash those chickens all summer long with just clippings and first fruits, just whatever, just keep tossing them in there and then eat, because I don't, I don't eat a lot of vegetables. I would probably, if I grew it myself, would eat more, but I don't eat vegetables from the store. They're chloridated and fluoridated and sprayed with bugs, and you know, um, yeah, I need to get some composting worms going out here too. That's another good thing, man, for chickens. There's lots of things you can do. Black fly, you know, soldier fly larva. There's all kinds of different ways to create, uh, self sustainability to cut your costs down. You know, I just wouldn't spend a grip load of money on food for those girls, but I don't care. They're my ladies. I want to take care of my. Oh, their feed is awesome. They got a good batch of feed, but that's all right. I want organic eggs. I eat the eggs. I need the protein. I don't care. I need it. Like I said, when I'm done here, that's what I'm going to have for dinner. 5 or 6 eggs. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah. Oh, I've got plenty. Like I said, I got compost out. Here I've got chickens, and I've got, since that I've raised goats and sheep, and I got hogs in the back if I needed it back there for years. That I raised hogs back there. So. Um, but yeah, there's some horses around here. Cows. There's a cow, and they raise Angus right over there. Big old, Angus. I don't know how many head they have over there, but yeah, there's this year we'll just continue to try to use the resources, that we have here to feed the ladies and supplement it. It just keeps more of the dry feed too. You know what I'm saying, um, in the container. I don't have to feed them that as much often if I know that I don't stick just all the food. I don't feed any more animal like that ever. I don't just put food in and let them graze like cows. All my animals, my dogs, they don't get it like that. Cats, even no matter what animal I have, I always feed them twice a day. Just the way I feed. It's the way I farm. Just everybody does it different. About a cow, I'd obviously let a cow, and I do, but even goats and sheep, even when they free range, they still get fed twice a day. So all my animals I just have an interaction with my livestock, with my animals. So I prefer to do it that way. So if I'm feeding them, you know what I mean, and know that too, they're getting more bugs and stuff by free ranging. They always free range, but they're going to be a lot more bugs out here. And then I'm throwing them, scraps from the garden. I'm not going to feed them as much, Um, so things like that will help. Yeah, I'll use water, but it's okay. I got to work on that. It's worth it. It's to have the fresh eggs that they eat, all that organic food that I grew. You know what I'm saying? All those organic vegetables and fruits. Heck yeah. You know, should probably grow some pumpkins too. They absolutely, chickens love pumpkins. They love all that gourds, any kind of squash, all of it, all those vegetables and stuff. So great way to supplement. And like I said, it'll get me to eat better. So I got a big task. I'm gonna have to get some hands out here, man. I'm going to. I can't believe what Father did to me the other day, crushing me where I had that whole ad ready to go. I had it all written up. I spent a whole hour getting it all together, all the photos, all that, and the whole thing just dumped on me at the last second. So should have known. It's my fault for not saving the text, and could have went back but thy kingdom come, Father's will be done. So, but like I said, just to have abundance. I don't want to waste. I'll have enough. I'm going to grow enough food out here that I don't want to throw it all to the chickens. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I think I'll have more than I can eat. So um, I just need, actually, like I said, I'll probably need to really start sourcing. Get my water game up. Get another 1,000-gallon tank out here, 10,000 or another 2,000, 3,000. Um, and get some uh, gutters, get gutters on every building out here that has a pitch on it that I can collect water on, so that I don't ever waste a single drop of water that hits any roof line. And then set up some, because I have some tin in the back. That's why I need a hand out here eventually, and set up some roof line. They don't have to be, up in the air. They can be down on the ground and go into a tank. That's something that's possible. Um, I don't know if you ever seen that, but they do that. They'll build out smaller. They're like, a foot, 2 foot off the ground, maybe 3 foot at the backside. There's a pitch, uh, and you can build those on the ground, and they can drain into a tank. And that's what I want to put that all the way around that water tank. I want to build like a roof line that goes like that all around, and it feeds into like a, you know, into like an, like a U, or like a square, and all those feed into that, and all that water feeds into the tank. So just continuously fill it up. So what if it overflows? Who cares if it overflows? It's not going to be the end of the world. It's downright where all that water. So but that's a good way to keep the tanks topped off. Put it ICBM tote, at each one of these, one at the Dragon. Need one over here, over off the roof line under the shed, the wood shed. There's a roof line there that could be collecting every bit of rainwater off of that building. So that kind of thing. And then, like I said, I can keep, obviously not during the summertime, but you know, get the water game up. Don't waste any water. If it rains and I'm not collecting it, that's my bad. I should never do that. Should collect every bit of water that ever falls out here on every roof line. So got to get my game up on that. All these things, like I said, will help generate, again, self-sufficiency out here. And that's what this ministry is all about: creating something, out of near nothing, creating abundance. Why does my camera keep doing that? This freaking camera sucks. Apologize for the stupid lighting here, but it is what it is. Um, the visuals suck. Hopefully it's better for what you hear. But again, that's the idea, is to continue to create abundance, get some stuff to grow out to seed, and get more seeds and store more seeds for next year. Label those of what have been grown out here in the desert, and they're going to become even more hardened in this desert too, in the climate. So, and just roll on here. Just like I said, I'm just pretty fed up with the whole world right now. There's really nothing that's surprising me. It's just sheer evil. Most people are just lost, um, and so it's better to just grow food and concentrate on the ministry and keep sharing the gospel, and it'll all work out. You know what I'm saying? It'll all come to pass, every jot and every tittle, before he comes back. So he don't make mistakes. And again, it's exciting to think that having the source of power out here, to have a freeze dryer out here. It's been a lot of years since I've had a freeze dryer. One of those things that I really enjoyed having and doing and putting away, is just my nature to have, want to put up store, like more like a chipmunk or a squirrel. I just have that instinct to. Uh, this whole cabin is filled with food. It's a mess. There's just food everywhere. Shelves and piles and food and food boxes, food. It's just food. It's all food everywhere. So, um, it's just my nature to put up, stores. Again, a chipmunk got the brain the size of a pea, and nobody needs to tell it to put up nuts. So, people might think I'm nuts. That's okay. Noah was nuts, and then it rained. So 126 years he put that ark. Remember, he baptized it inside and out. So same process here that I got going. Building the ark, doing what I'm doing. Got that shelter, man. That is such an awesome. Just to think it's where it's at now, and it's not done, but it has come. How long it is? Man, it'd be nice to see when you guys from the ministry come out here, be able to put your eyes on it. The man's nuts. Grab him. No, don't do that. No, keep your hey, it's a spiritual ministry, not a physical ministry. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands inside until the ride has come to a complete stop. So, all right, good stuff. But yes, thank you, Father. For the ability to have what, like I said, the accomplishment out here, and not like it was created from all this dollars and wealth. It was created by hard labor and sweat of my brow. And most time I had a dollar, I traded for something and fixed it and traded it for more, and then traded. It's like starting with the paperclip kind of deal. That's my life, man. I get wiped out sometimes, and then I got to start back over with the paperclip or nothing. The clothes on my back, I've done it over. Father stripped me down to nothing multiple times in my life. I've even had not even had shoes before. Not even a pair of shoes to walk around barefoot. So, Father can strip me back pretty far, but thank you for the ability where we're at now, and this ministry is paid off. Um, Everything here is owned, so somebody can come here and add to what's already here, and that's what I'll try to do. That's what I continue to try to march forward to build this um, place that can be give after I'm gone. That's what I'm hoping again. uh, yeah, I get mad at him, whatever, and thank him too. No, brother, because I know he's doing it. I don't get mad at. I'll get mad at anybody like that anymore. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I get mad at Father. I get mad at him and he laughs at me. So, and I do, and I cuss him, and then he laughs at me. He just thinks I'm silly, and this is a little. Just do your job, he tells me. Just shut up and do what I tell you to do. So, hey, at least the voice don't shut off. See, have a relationship with him. So, but it's okay. Again, I have a sense of a legacy, to leave something behind for people that are this ministry after I'm gone. And that's what it is. It's not for me. I don't, um, I'd rather travel and go see the world, but the Father doesn't have me in that position right now. I tried, but Father wouldn't allow that. So I have to stick with what he wants. So most of the time it's beating. Like I said, I could have walked away and could have had all that, but then I would have had to make a deal with the devil, make a source, with the beast. Instead, I stood up and did what a real man would do, and like Christ stood up to the perversion, and so that's what I did, and it cost me dearly. So what? Here I am, still standing 10 toe. I'm not some slave on my knees, and I'd rather die standing 10 toe man, yep, of the land. And so I came into this rock, wasn't walking, but I learned how to stand, and I want to go right back down again to the dirt one day. But at least I'll know when I here was here. I didn't get on my knees and be a slave, and that I produced something for something other than myself. My life wasn't about me. I still had to look after my flesh, but who was this? Who was this Hokadesh? Who was this spirit? Who was this man? And what was he about? What was he when the world wasn't looking? You know, what was the fruits of his labor? And so um, I'm feel just so abundant to have this. And since I've already accomplished this online ministry, this is far superior to anything that I ever thought that Father I didn't, that He through His will, and greater than anything that I wanted, or my bucket list and my final, share the gospel. And if in one ear heard it from the highest peak, this is far higher than any peak that I ever thought just one ear could hear. This has reached every rock, every continent over the years it's gone out. And so it's shadow banned right now. We've had, this channel's been open, wide open. Sometimes you get 100 people, and it's plus, that it's okay. I don't now we're at, this is perfect. That way I'm not distracted by this nonsense. There's nothing outside of the world right now other than experience, nature, Father's, wildlife and things like that personally for me that excites me. But experience with people, but the world itself is upside down right now. And so you must be as esteemed as a potter's clay. Turn their works upside down. And you got to go back to the ways of doing things that have always worked. And that's why I do what I do. Homesteading and raising food and having things for, people would tell you a generation or two ago, if you didn't have a pantry and you didn't have extra store, they'd call you crazy. Now you're crazy if you put up food. The world is completely upside down. Woe to those who call good evil and evil good. Men's hearts are waxed cold. We should all be as a conglomeration right now, as a unity, unite, as come together. Especially after we know who's running the show. You know what I'm saying? Right now. And I don't mean to jump into this topic, but we have a bunch of pedos in the pedo class. They're not the elite class, they're the pedo class. These running the show. And you know what I'm saying? And we should be really standing up right now, doing things like this, going around the system, telling you, and making it known that we know what they're doing. This hiding behind, redacted and things. A lot of this stuff has been out for decades. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious that I don't even want to look at it anymore. It's filthy. It's the most vile that it can be. And it's going to get worse, but, this is the time where we should truly be not doing the system anymore. And so I'm thankful that this ministry runs, off grid. And by, again, putting this ministry back on the grid is not, yes, there'll be a certain amount of taxes that are had to pay for a power bill, but that would be that give unto Caesar kind of deal, what the scripture is talking about, because what we create with the abundance of having a freeze dryer is far superior than what Caesar gets, right? What's given to the ministry, what's given to God, what's given to the word, what's given to the body, the ministry, that's far superior than the because it's not going to be a tremendous amount. We're not really creating, I'm not trying to be big out here like that. We don't have some huge ministry of 100,000 or, it's 20 and it's going to stay that way. And it's been that way for years. We went to almost 20 in just months, so Father keeps the brakes on this channel, and I'm totally fine with that. You know what I'm saying? So this is a time that I'm not going to sit here and be okay with society. We literally have a pedo class that runs our, all the other governments. and they're all in on it. I don't care I don't want to say, I don't care if they're a donkey or an elephant. It has no matter. It's a circus and it's a world stage, and they've got everybody just acting like it's not happening. And in this country, it is appalling to me. So the better thing to do is homestead. Get off the system and become your own system, and check out of the system, and that is godly. That is righteous. God hates capitalism. God does not like pride, buildings rising in cities and towers 58. That's blasphemy. Sin City. Cities they're literally, you know, they're the opposite of what we should be doing, because convenience is not, life isn't supposed to be convenient. Although you can have convenience, you're going to pay for it. And that's what that city does for people. That convenience becomes that, broad way. And I don't care what anybody thinks about what I'm sharing with you. That's what the word is. The Messiah was a man of very few possessions, and he just went around sharing the word, sharing the gospel. So I don't know where you're getting your testament from, but that's what I look at, and that's my testament to you. I was a messenger. So we're not all supposed to be about having all these, if we put up things, they're supposed to be tithing for other people, for future generations, so that we suffer today, so later we can have like a savings account. you know that's part of life. We have to put up our store, and where we put up our time, you know is important. So I don't care if I die trying in this, girded in the service of this ministry. At least Father knows, and you could be a witness, but Father will know, Shiloh will know what I was doing here. He put me up to this, but that's why I'm saying this is why I think what is should be done, considering all things, shows you how truly evil it is right now. And people don't want to talk about it. And they're not going to be very prepared for when this next, uh, there will be another Blind 11 event. I don't care what you think. Okay. And it's already here. I mean, if you look at it, what are you waiting for? Some ordinance to fall in your backyard before you're going to get up and do something about it? You know what I'm saying? Uh, so we live in a world that's, just, I think they think they're inept. It's not going to happen to them. It's not going to affect them. But this. If you look at this commander and, the bad man orange, whatever you want to call it, you're not going to run from it. I mean, this is well known what this man has done. And the devil is an accuser. I'm not accusing him. We got these people, pictures, testimony, been paid how many millions of dollars to shut up with people, to shut them up, settle, so they don't talk about these things. And these are talking about the children too. This is the thing. The hard thing for me is if this is affecting adults, that's different. Adults can defend themselves. Adults can think and handle it, but children are not able to defend, and taking advantage of that's like stealing somebody's innocence. Who told you you were naked? That's the same thing. I don't care. It's the same sin. A sin is a sin, and I'm telling you, the Father, I'm trying to tell you, his mindset is not, these people not speaking up right now about these things is horror to watch, and to see people not come together and unite in. Remember, I've already taught you how to beat the system. I don't bitch about things. Apologize for cursing, but I have solutions, and it's to go around the system. They couldn't even offer us the food. They offer, less than 1% of the U.S. populace grows their own food. Some sort of garden, something in the windowsill, chickens, eggs, something. 40% during the Second World War did the U.S. populace with victory guards. That's what I'm talking about. They grew food during World War II. What are people doing right now? Going to the store, buying a Tesla, taking the dog to the dog park, whatever, just going along like nothing is happening. This country is an abomination, and people don't want to even, we go around and steal other countries now. We live in a time where it's okay just to go kidnap presidents. What would happen if our president was kidnapped? Nobody ever thinks about these things. What about a return for all the havoc that we've reaped all around this rock? You know what the term sleeper cell is? You ever heard that term? Wonder Twin powers activate. Maybe that's their call sign. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, you don't think that thing's ever going to come back to bite you in the butt? What goes around, I don't do karma. What goes around comes around. Father creates all things. There's no such thing as karma. You will receive a just measure when he returns, but that's not karma. So there's no such thing as karma. No such thing as free will, no such thing as luck. But you can't go stomping on everybody and every country and it's robbing their resources by instilling central banks and inflating their currencies. So this is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You put in the energy. My dad, that's what my dad told me. He didn't tell me to say there's no such thing as karma. He said, you put out bad and bad is going to come back. And it's not like, see, karma is not, it doesn't come with an expiration date then, okay? Because people normally think karma is something that comes right back. It's like, sometimes it's like a boomerang. You know, you throw that thing out there and it waits years to come back until you're nice and complacent and you forgot about it. And then blam, it rug pulls you. You wonder, what the hell? Why me? That's the kind of karma that I know. If you're going to believe in karma, karma don't come with an expiration date. Put that in quotes so you remember I said that to you, because there's no such thing. But if you're going to use that term, that foreign alien dialect, if you put out bad, that's what my dad told me, bad's going to come back. If you put out good, it's like algebra. If you take something from over here, you're going to have to give it back over here, aren't you, huh? Add, take away, it always will pour itself out righteously. It does it because Father is the equator in the whole. That's what I'm saying. You can't run from this. That's what people don't have an acceptance. So thank you, Father, for this, you know, so that we can know that, you know, we will be held accountable. You know, what are you doing with your time? You know, we're not here by chance. We didn't come from some bang. You know, Father spoke all this into existence. That's not a bang. So watch out for the bang. You know, seriously. I mean, she blows me away. Get it? Bang. You know, like 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes don't add up to me most of the time. So again, the better thing to do is to go around the system. Evolve, not revolution, is like putting 6 lead lobbing things and throwing lead at you, you know, and you know, nope, going round and round. Revolution, that's what they want. They want to fight. They pin us against each other, divide and conquer. Donkey, elephant, it works flawlessly. They've got, this person says they're a cat now. Okay, the children want kitty boxes in the schools. You know, it's divide and conquer is what it is. You know, it gets people separated. We're all supposed to be uniting, going around the system and coming together on the other end. Evolution, not revolution, but that's all most people can do. They want to fight. That's what they'll wait until it comes to that point, or they won't do anything. They hope, hang on and hope and wait for the next donkey, ass, or elephant, you know, know it all for, you know, or never forget, right? Like an elephant. But yeah, to fix the whole problem when they should be fixing it themselves by going around the system. Evolution is not growing a new thumb or a kickstand so you can get stuck on dumb, leaning there, just stuck on dumb or something. Like a kickstand, you know, like a motorcycle or something. Maybe you're a scooter. I'm not sure what you're doing there, but when I really look at this in the big picture, brothers, sisters, you know what I'm saying? Like Sabrina says, it's, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? This is a time where if people even paid attention, that doesn't involve shooting anybody or killing anybody, does it? Unalive. That's not a good thing to say on here, but unaliving anybody, does it? We don't have to throw any lead at anybody. We just go around the system. We start growing our own food. We start becoming our own system. We trade and we barter. That way we don't get taxed on barters and trading. They can't tax your trade, can they? Barter system. Start with a paper clip. Some people got to go to, they're screwed. They don't have a job. They don't know how to start with a paper clip. You know, some people just content living in a cardboard box. Who am I to say? I'm not, you know, but I know that when I'm here, that he says, you know, you need to bear witness. You need to be crucified. You need to suffer. You need to go through long suffering, and you need to go out and share and be charitable with my word. So that's why I do this, because this gives me, you know, more pleasure and treasure than anything on this rock, no matter what I sow in this dirt. He said the enemy came and sowed seeds. Remember the parables of rocky ground and thorny ground and fertile ground. Remember what the scripture is telling us about that. You could be sowing seeds, but where are you planting those seeds? You know what I mean? Are you in a city? Bunch of concrete? I don't think the city, you're going to have very good seeds in the city sown. Thorny ground? Come on. Protect it, but it's still not going to, you know, you need to be sowing in fertile soil, right? High nutrient dense, narrow is the way. In the country, that's where all the fertile soil's at, right? When are you going to go buy some genetically modified high glyphosate, you know, miracle Roundup, where they round you up? Roundup, get it? Miracle Roundup. To get in on that lawsuit. Put on your lawsuit at the Miracle Roundup. So, all right, whatever. Just play your little silly little reindeer games, your little city games, huh? Bouncing around on from tower to tower or whatever, building to building, popping in chimneys or whatever you do. So, anyways, moving on. Narrow is the way. So, thank you, Father, for having the ability to be out here in the country and produce, you know, some of my own food. And whether it's all of my own food or not, at least I'm making the attempt. And in this lifetime, I'll know that I was doing my best that I could to check out of the system. For just one guy, I can only do so much. If I had another 3 hands or 5, I'm sure I could do more. But, you know, sometimes there's not enough, you know, not enough Indians and too many chiefs. So I've been a veteran, so I know it's not easy to deal with people. But we should be coming together right now, whether we want to or not, and figuring it out and evolving. That's what evolution is. It's not growing a new thumb. It's like being a chameleon. You change with the times. You color, not shapeshifter. Stop it. There's no such thing as shapeshifters or lizard people or gods in the sky. Stop it. The seeds you sow are unfertile. And you're not going to sow them here. So thanks for coming in. So anyways, what are you planting this year? What are you doing this year? What are you doing to negate the expensive grocery bill? You know, things are getting more expensive. The food is not better. It's just getting more nutrition depleted, negated, more and more genetically modified. They've added more and more fillers to it. And it's just getting harder and harder to find high quality food. Even when you can pay for organic, is it organic? Do they label it? They've gone taking things back that was non-genetically modified back to the laboratory. It was riddled with genetically modified ingredients. You know, they hide stuff behind a QR code now. If there's more than 1 or 2 genetically modified, they just put it behind the QR code. So narrow is the way. What are you doing to get into the narrow way? You know, so my only gripe is I just, you know, had to do it alone. But oh well, Father will deal with me when he takes me off this rock. He'll let me know. I mean, I know that living alone has a lot of advantages. I enjoy it, but I don't need somebody to live with me. I just hope somebody can have some other hands in this mission that you know, in the physical portion of it. But that's okay too. Like I said, I'll keep going. I'm super inspired here today, and I might find something to make it more convenient, and you know, and I'll go that route. But as of right now, I think the best route for me to is to just stay focused on getting on the grid, because that allows me to get all these chicken eggs. And again, if I had a freeze dry, I'd be raising meat birds. 100%. I'd be raising meat birds too. You know, duck too. I'd be raising ducks too. Again, ducks out here, and I just change it up. I would probably, you know, the flock down on the egg layers down to about a dozen, and then add probably a dozen meat birds, and that way it could always provide, a source of chicken protein outside of the eggs, and then do those both. Um, Outstanding, consistent, source of, uh, again, duck and chicken, and then raise that lamb and the, the goats. Don't need to raise many of those. You know what I'm saying? Uh, nice, outstanding broccoli, but too hot last couple of years. Yep. Yeah, I love beans. I so love beans off the, like eating them off the vine, or like snap peas, or like uh, what are those? Man, my mom used to grow those one kind of peas. I always be in there in the garden, be eating those peas right off. Just love grazing off the garden too. Love doing that too. Just going and eating. Oh, I'm gonna go out there and get a tomato. I'm gonna bring me out the Himalayan pink salt. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Beans off the vine don't taste like when they. And I like to cook them. I like them fresh. But something when you just eat something off the vine is, you know, especially when you grew it. So yeah, again, looking forward to all of this coming full circle. Like I said, stay motivated, and before you know it, the end of the summer will be here. Even though I don't want it to be the end of the summer. Come on, man. What do you mean end of the summer? It ain't, but I want to be ready by then. You know what I'm saying? Nice lemon squash. I like the lemon cucumbers. Those lemon cucumbers. I got to find those. I haven't seen any this year. I'm gonna find me some lemon cucumbers. Um, I don't know if I have any lemon cucumber seeds. I need to get my seed vault out. I got this one out, but I need to go get my other seed vault out. I figure I'm going to start with this. I don't need to go with everything. Like I said, some of these things I'm going to actually, um, I don't know. I probably don't need to do too much more. That's a pretty good start with what I've got going here. Yeah, the lemon cucumbers. Those are the freaking bomb. I love lemon cucumbers. Oh man, those are so good. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm thrilled to kind of get back into the vegetable thing, and get a good garden. Boy, I used to grow a big garden. I've grown gardens before and grows a pretty big garden, and had good success and was really happy and spent time, and it was always worth it. You know what I mean? No matter how long it took to grow the garden and the weeding and then the time but it was just like, this is good time well spent. You know what I'm saying? And then it gives the abundance, and then sharing with the neighbors, you know what I'm saying? Given when you have all that extra trading, have extra, just opens up a lot of doorways. So um, looking forward to that, like I said, out here and having the abundance, and knowing that um, these things will continue to, um, if things break down even further, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the end of the world anytime soon. But we could see, an electric, an event that happened from the sun. It could happen from an attack. We're messing with a country that's supposedly the number one state sponsored terrorist, so they could easily blame some kind of electrical attack or something financial on, you know, you ran, and and have, you know, an event, and then that's when you're like, man, I'm sure glad we put away some stuff I'm glad I got extra TV for my bungalow. I'm glad I don't have to go to the store to fight people right now. Sure seems like, last time it was well, I think it's gonna be a little bit harder this time. You know what I'm saying? When things break down, like, I think there'll be actual checkpoints this time. I think it was a soft kind of a, what is coming to this country, the whole world. It's not just gonna be here in America. They could lock us down real quick again. They could have everybody standing on an X wearing a face diaper and put up those stupid freaking Lexan or plexiglass screens overnight. They could have everybody doing it again. So I think they could have it a little bit more. They put military on 20 plus states. 20, almost half of this country had military at one point with these ISIS, you know, and military from all these events that were going on here in these last 6 months, a year, and people didn't even bat an eye at it. Posse Comitatus, he sent the Marines to California. Remember during the King's Ritual? They had Marines guarding immigrants during the Biden administration, guarding immigrants in hotels in New York. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous, but you can't just totally stop, but you can stop a lot, though. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot. I already know it's going to happen. I'm not some prophet. I already know it's going to happen. You know, they're going to start a draft, and I don't even want to talk about it because it's killing me, because I already talked about it. Not literally, but I don't want to talk about it, but they're going to do it. And I don't care anymore. If they start a draft, I'm probably going to not talk. I probably only live stream very seldom. I don't want to even talk about sending people. I'm a veteran. I don't want to talk about it. My PTSD is already bad enough. We haven't had a draft since the Vietnam War. And they just recently talked about this, saying that the draft is not out of the question. And I talked about drafting American women and the Ukraine. Remember? How many times did I talk about unaliving a whole generation? I've left it alone because it just bothers me that people don't talk about it. I don't bring it up. Nobody ever talks about it. So, Cuba, remember? Still got eyes on Cuba. Still messing with Greenland. Over there in South Africa, we took over Venezuela. We're not going to leave Iran until we can put in the administration we want, the government we want. So that's basically going to just be America now too, right? So which country's next? Brazil, any of these ones that back this BRICS, not the ones that don't have a central bank. So shouldn't be very hard to see where this is headed. So this is not the time to be fighting people down there at the store for box bagged and canned crap food. Do you think? You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's not a time for me to. I just know it's going to happen, and they have the conscription. They're gonna. It's not it's 30 years old. It's like 50 years old that they'll take people. So people forget it's not just 18 to 30. So, I'm appalled at the American people who don't care that they're going to draft the American women, and nobody ever talks about it. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares. Drafting the little girls of this country gone off to Iran, to go fight a bankster's war over oil. It's not over weapons. It has nothing to do with weapons. So that's got to be, and you know what? I'm saying they got to be the most hypocritical country to ever walk this rock. Who in the hell? We're the only nation to ever use a nuclear ordinance on another country. Nagasaki, Hiroshima. Who in the hell are we to tell another country they cannot have nuclear weapons? I hate this country with a passion, and I'm allowed to. I am allowed to. I am allowed to. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not supposed to like what this country is doing. Literally what we do to all these other countries. This is ridiculous. Think about what I just said to you. We're the only country to ever use a nuclear bomb on another country. We're telling another country they can't have nuclear bombs. What the hell is up with that? Could you be any more hypocritical? I defended the people's right of speech, like this person saying, but that's hypocrisy. We need to talk about these things. Why can we tell somebody can't have something that we have actually used on another country? The only country to ever even do that. That's ridiculous, guys. It's to me, my soul cannot allow this without speaking up. So You defend the right as a United States Army veteran for the people to have a right. Remember, Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech of the press, the right to peacefully assemble, the right to redress grievances, right, form well-regulated. Most people don't remember the rights at all, but I know I defended the right of the people, and I'm telling you, I can't stand by and condone this behavior from this country that I live in. This is disgusting. This is the most hypocrisy thing ever. They're right down in history. This nation used nuclear bombs on Japan. They embargoed them. That's exactly what they're doing to Iran. Iran is the most sanctioned country on this rock. And that's what they're doing with this Strait of Hormuz, all this. It's the same play as World War II. So this is the third World War. Everybody waiting for World War III to happen is we're knee deep, almost up to our hips in the Third World War already. You know what I'm saying? So it just offends me that we could ever tell any other country that they couldn't have something that we've actually twice used on another country. What kind of that's the hypocrites get thrown into the lake of fire with the unbelievers and the lukewarm Christians and the false prophets. Remember, the first ones he deals with, the people who change his word first. So if you're a hypocrite, and that's what this country is, a nation full of hypocrites supporting this. Yeah, not far off. I think it's already like $7-8. That's right. All by design. Supply chain shortages are created. It's all created. They do this. Look at the lumber industry. Look at the oil industry. There's actually a glut of oil right now, too. So that's people are lost. Ryan's correct. It's all by design. Hegelian dialect, problem, reaction, solution. Problem, reaction, solution. They come in with the solution as the hero, with the solution of the pre-programmed, right, problem that they created. They create the problem. There's a reaction. Action, reaction. There's a reaction from the public or the people, and then they come in with the solution as the hero to fix the problem that they created. Yeah, it's sickening, but it's been done on the people for time immemorial. You know what I'm saying? $1.40 a liter. That's like three. Yeah. So it's three. It's $4.19 here. $4.19. $4.09 or $4.19. $4.09 if you pay with cash. $4.19 if with credit. Where I'm at. So I haven't been up there today. It's probably even higher today. I went and filled up. Like I went to town and filled up into town. I was like, I got a reason to go to town, get some gas. It's cheaper there. Gas was $3.59 in town. $3.89, $3.77, $3.99 at most places. We ain't seen nothing yet. We ain't even seen nothing. 20% of the fuel comes out of the Strait of Hormuz through the Persian Gulf. They can bring it out through the Red Sea and pipe it down that way, but that's still a cost and it doesn't matter. Yeah, and what's up with this, man? Diesel is less refined. It's actually cheaper to make diesel. Cheaper to make diesel. Yes, it is. It's less refined. Yes, there's more petroleum in it, but it's less refined. Why is diesel more expensive? Diesel my whole life was always cheaper than gas. Regular, now unleaded. Because it was less refined. Everybody always knew that. Smell it. You could always more sulfur, you know what I'm saying? So, Well, no, gasoline is a byproduct of diesel, so to speak, Ryan. It's more refined. Gasoline is more refined petroleum oil. Diesel is just less refined. It's thicker, more viscosity, obviously, but it's not. It's cheaper to make. It goes through less refining. Right. So they take that diesel and process it into gasoline. So that process should cost more money, and that's why diesel was always been cheaper. Right? You see what I'm saying? So why the switch? Why the switch? Remember when it switched? It switched before COVID, right? A little bit before COVID, wasn't it? Because diesel was always cheaper. Always, always, always. You never seen diesel ever was diesel ever not cheaper than gasoline. Well, I think it was before the COVID that it switched. When it, you guys remember? Am I wrong about the time? About 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, a couple years before the COVID. The fuck out of here. COVID backwards. But then they switched all of a sudden. And to me, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I pushed that with everybody. I'm like, there's no way diesel could be more expensive. But I remember when it switched and then diesel started being more expensive. I'm like, that's stupid. And then they started that DEF crap. See, he was right about that time, huh? With the DEF nonsense. Whatever that other modern day, whatever, watered down like ethanol. They did it to the diesel basically. Like, 99? Was it that long ago? Don't tell me it was that long ago, but hell. 2004 is when they took your super size away. That was 22 years ago, right? 22 years ago was the last time you could supersize it. Isn't that insane? No, it hasn't been that long. Yes, it has. 2004 was the last time you could supersize it. That's insane. Where the hell is all those years going, man? We're getting old. Look at this channel. Hey, one person in there. There's 3 or 4. This channel, this YouTube sucks. I can't wait till we see in the end when they show one of the most shadow banned channels on YouTube. It's going to be this channel, guys. We'll have 5, 6, 8, 10 people in here. Let's say there's nobody in here. One person in here, my left cheek. All right, guys, I got to put some wood on the wood stove here. Oh, maybe we need to make some food. Getting a wee bit hungry there, boys. I think I got to make eggs, guys. I got to make some eggs, man. I got to make some eggs. I got to make eggs. I got to make eggs. I'm getting overflowing on eggs. Got to eat eggs for dinner and for breakfast and make some lunch. Just make eggs. I love eggs from my head down to my legs. I love eggs. That used to be a commercial. Anybody remember that commercial? The eggs commercial? Anybody remember that one? I love eggs. The egg commercial. We're pushing eggs. Eggs are healthy. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're good. No, they're bad. No, they're good. They go back and forth with everything all the time. Oh. Yo, good old Wichita, boys. I get some extra sour cream. I'm going to think about making some. Okay, so I got cheese. Yeah, think about making like a. You get some extra sour cream. Extra sour cream. What about the big one? I want the big boy. All right, I'm gonna have to go outside for a minute. Go outside for a country minute. Get some cheese and some butter. I think I'm all out of butter, aren't I? I'm all out of butter. I got butter outside, and let me go out there. I'll be back in a minute. Butter and cheese. Oh man, I got the wrong butter. Oh well. Take care of that. Alright, taking a pause. I'm gonna make myself something to eat, guys. Give me a minute or 3 or 5. Shouldn't take long. This is making eggs. Huevos. Huevos. One. Salt. Now, which ones are our oldest eggs? The oldest eggs are. Go over here. Cooking rice, boys. Drop it like it's hot. All right, I'm gonna make myself something to eat. I had to go outside. I have steak out there in the cooler. I forgot I still got one more steak out there. I bought two, so I'll have to eat that tomorrow. Give me a minute. I gotta eat these eggs, guys. I got like 3 dozen eggs here. I've been slacking. I should eat at least 5 or 6 eggs a day, man. Slacking. We're gonna make these super buttery eggs. Yeah, oh, look at all that butter. Yeah, that makes them taste the best. Do like 4, at least 4 eggs, right? Got to eat at least 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3. I'll do 4 to start. Do it 4 to start. The fire's going. Get the fire ripping. I can hear. Ooh, that's a nice egg there, boy. Very nice egg. Hello. 2. There you go. And where's my sour cream? A little pepper on these eggs. A little pepper on each one. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. That butter's getting good. Put lots of sour cream down there. Oh yeah, nice butter there. Where is queso? There we go, queso. Herbert. Oh yeah. Get this cheese back. Wait for the sour cream right there. Look at all the eggs we got. Can I? That work? Work. No, it's not that. Oh! I just put a bunch of sour cream and cheese underneath these. So this ought to be pretty yummy. With the sour cream and the cheese underneath there. Oh yeah. Mm. All right, guys, I'll let you go so I can eat. You guys have a good evening. I might come back on here, I might not. We'll see. Much Agape. Thanks for your time. Yeah, I'm gonna eat, so I don't have to sit here and eat in front of you guys. I don't mind anybody, but it's still pretty early. Yeah, we'll see. I do a little research, see what's going on. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in and sharing the gospel and hanging out. Hope you're getting some food going. Food's getting more expensive. Fuel's getting more expensive. Everything's going up. Looks like silver popped up a little bit today. I looked at it. Still $97 or something on APMEX to buy an ounce of silver. So paper price and physical price are two different. Don't get scared out. Don't weak hands. Don't shake. Unless you need to pull profit. That's never wrong to do that. So, yes, thank you so much for coming in. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you on the next HD Fat live stream. Okay, Pastor Apocalypse, Pastor Revelation. Whoa.